All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's NASCAR Cup Series Bank of America Roval 400 live commentary stream for the elimination race of the round of 12 for the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. And in today's race, we have a lot to cover, 109 laps in this scheduled distance. And will we see anybody dethrone Shane Van Gisbergen, who is trying to go for 5 consecutive road course race wins in the NASCAR Cup Series? He's coming fresh off his first career top 10 on an oval last weekend at Kansas, where he finished in the 10th place position. Tyler Reddick qualifying on the pole for today's race. Not in a must-win situation, but looking for as many points as he can get if he doesn't win, because he is one of the 4 drivers below the cutoff line in this elimination race. We'll take more of a look on the point standings and obviously the starting lineup leading into the drop of the green flag for today's race once we get through the NASCAR trivia, which we always kickstart on the Cup Series live commentary race stream. So thank you all for tuning in here this afternoon. We are just over a half hour away from the drop of the green flag for today's Bank of America Roval 400. And for today's quiz, I figured, you know what, Corey Heim, he's moving up there in the all-time Truck Series wins list. And not only he's moving up there, but we also have a situation where he won the most races in a single season. So with that being said, figured Truck Series all-time race wins list. We're going to try to run this back. We have tried to do this one time already this season. We actually got really close to completing the quiz. Hopefully, we can complete the quiz in its full here today. 125 names. We have 20 minutes. Anybody who has ever won a Craftsman Truck Series race. This was last updated in 2024. So it doesn't look like it's counting any of this season's races. But I think we could have a pretty good run at it. Nathan Urich, Frank Powers, Wade, Steve, Marcus Villarreal, and many others, welcome into the stream. You guys are the first in the chat below. Let's begin the quiz. And it does give us the amount of wins a driver has had, as well as what years they raced in NASCAR. So we're going to start off with the guy who is leading all time in the Truck Series wins list, Kyle Busch. We're going to get Kurt Busch along with that. Ron Hornaday is in second. I know Todd Bodine has a ton of wins. Jack Sprague is up there on the list. Greg Biffle is up there in the list. Obviously, Corey Heim moving his way up. And because this isn't counting this season, he would be at 20 wins in his career now, but only at 10 as of the end of last year. Mike Skinner is up there on the list. Robert Presley has won some. I thought he had more than that. Mike Bliss has quite a few. Johnny Sauter's got quite a few. He's in the top 5. Johnny Benson. Travis Kvapil has a lot. Oh, wow, he's only got 9? Former champion, I would have thought he had more. Bobby Hamilton, he's got 10. I know Mark Martin's on the list. Kevin Harvick's got quite a few. Brad Keselowski. And we'll get Bob Keselowski in there with that. Only 1 for those guys. Christopher Bell's got quite a few. William Byron won a lot in one season. Didn't win the championship. I know Denny Hamlin's got 1. Martin Truex Jr. won the dirt race before. I don't know if Ryan Truex would have gotten that. Michael Waltrip is on the list. Now I'm just going all over the board. Paul Menard ever win one? No. Casey Mears? No. Scott Riggs. Lane Riggs. Jamie McMurray. Scott Speed, I know, is on the list. Ryan Newman. Tony Stewart. Robbie Gordon on here? No, he's not. AJ Allmendinger? I didn't know if he maybe ran about McDowell. David Rudiman. He's on here. Steve Park, I know, is on here. Casey Kane is on here, yes. Cole Custer. Justin Haley. Brian Vickers is not on the list. Okay. Gillen, Todd, and David. Well, at least Todd. Smith. Zane Smith. Former champion, Brett Moffitt. Another former champ. Ben Rhodes, yep. Matt Crafton. Christian Eckes. Daniel Hemrick. But it wasn't counting this season, so he's not going to be on here. Tyler Ankrum had a win before this season. Raja Karuth won last year. Hocevar. Gregson. Carl Edwards, yes. Matt Kenseth on here at all? No. David Reagan? No. Trevor Bayne? Probably not. Horse said ever win a truck race? Yes, he did. Ron Fellows. Scott Wimmer? No. Jason Leffler. Casey Atwood. Chase Elliott has. Ryan Blaney missing a lot. Busher. James Chris. I did not put Logano yet. Okay, good thing I went back and put him in a second time. Briscoe. Reddick. Jimmy Spencer on here. Yep. The Dillon brothers, Ty and Austin, both former champs. Cale Gale. John King. Timothy Peters. Eric Darnell. Cook. Terry Cook. Little. He's not on here. Quiz for this weekend. Anybody who has ever won a Craftsman Truck Series race, trying to run this one back again from earlier in the season. See if we can get a perfect score. We had 20 minutes. We're at 65 of 125. I doubt Montoya is on here. Is Ambrose on here at all? No, he's not. Hornish? Elliott Sadler. Elliott and Hermie Sadler. Doubt John Andretti's on here. It's worth putting some of these names that I know are not on here. Stacy Compton, Eric Jones, Brandon Jones with that. Larson, yep. Bowman is not on here. Okay. Cindric. Ricky Craven. Stenhouse, probably not. I don't remember him winning one. Ross Chastain. Daniel Suarez. SVG hasn't ran a truck. Zilich hasn't won in trucks. Yeah. Justin Allgaier on here at all? No. What about Michael and Annette? No. John West Townley. He's on here. Tate Fogelman. Spencer Boyd won at Talladega before too, I believe. I do have Harvick. John Barber, welcome to the stream. AJ Summers, Mark Guest, Steve, Dean Tate. AJ Summers, let's see here. Terry Lewis, Bond 1771. Thanks for tuning in, guys. David Starr, yes. David Starr. Got 78 of 125. Anybody who's ever won a truck race? Who else have I... No, he's not on here. Kenny Schrader. Ricky Hendrick. Phil Lester? No, he hasn't. Oh, Bubba Wallace. There we go. Mike Wallace on there as well. Nick Sanchez. Parker Kligerman. Justin Marks ever win a truck race? No. Oh, Nelson Piquet. Yeah, I've got Hornaday. Gralla. Yes, Gralla's on here. We're moving along pretty good. I don't think Mayfield's on here at all, but I'll put him anyway. JJ Yaley? No. Sorensen? Nothing there. Sam Mayer, yes. Riley Herbst win a truck race? No. Ryan Preece. Got 88 of 125. Regan's. Oh, no, I already got him. Already have him. Already got all the Smith last names. Hut Strickland. Oh, he's not on here. Joe Ruttman. Larry Pearson on here at all? No. Rick Crawford. I've got to be missing some current guys still. I've got Benson. Forgot him on the Xfinity quiz yesterday. I did not forget him today. And 940 left. We got 90 of 125. We can do this. Chase Elliott, I've already got. I do have Terry Cook already. I put Eric Darnell, I thought. Yep. She didn't win. Man. Chad McCumbee, I don't think has won. Brendan Gaughan. I do have Johnny Sauter already. I've got the Biff. I've got Stewart. I've got Logano. Burton. Harrison Burton. Jeb Burton. I don't know about Jeff or Ward. 92. No, it's just Harrison and Jeb. I've got Sprague. Enfinger. Oh, man. Active driver. Do have Chastain. $93 of 125. I feel like I'm missing some Red Horse Racing guys. I've got Timothy Peters. I got Parker Kligerman. John King. I don't think anybody else ever won for him. He had to win at Talladega and Daytona. I do have Riggs, Lane, and Scott. Yes, I do have Stewart. I'm trying to think of the EA games we've played. There's not many on the current game. Hamilton, Skinner, Quapple, Sheldon Creed, yes. Austin Hill. Jesse Love's not on here. Present. Somebody who still races 2013 to now. Who am I missing? I do have Hamilton. I tried Larry Pearson. No. Morgan Shepherd on here at all? No. Nemechek. Oh, yes. John Hunter. That's the modern day driver I was missing. Retired in 2012. 95 in the inaugural season to 2012 for the Trucks. 18 wins. Who's a big name I have not put on here yet? Arnie Irvin on here at all? No. Kenny Irwin is. I do have PK. Heim. Stuart Friesen, another active driver. There we go. I do have Mike Bliss. $99 of 125. There's still another guy who races in the Truck Series. Or just active in NASCAR in general. Yeah, I've got Boris said already. One more away from 100. I've got Jones. Rudiman. Struggle. Starting to struggle. Still another active driver that bothers me. Still have one guy with 18 wins. Kevin LePage is on here. No, he's not. Oh, no. I really thought he was on here. Rick Mast. Ty Majeski, yes, that's the active driver I was missing. You know, I was thinking I didn't have all the Thor Sport guys. All right. I don't. Oh, there is still another present day driver. 2022. Cruz, Majeski. I do have Crafted. That 18 wins is bothering me. That and another active driver. I've got Hosevar. See, that's the thing. It can be active in any series. Brennan Poole? Oh, I really thought I had that. Yeah. Two Smiths. Already got them. I've got Moffitt. There's got to be some Cup driver I haven't named yet. One of the young guys, maybe. Hank Parker ever win a truck race? Nope. I don't know. Labonte. Bobby Terry. It's 102. Justin Labonte, I think, might be on here also. I tried Stenhouse, but he's not on here. 23 more names. 100 seconds left. Got over 100. That's pretty impressive. I know there's still more out there I can get. David Reagan didn't win. I do have Caruth. Oh, Dennis Setzer's the one I'm missing. Yeah, you're right. Wow. That was close. There's still an active driver I'm missing, though. That one hurts. Sprite Bliss. Jeez. Green. No, he's not on here. I don't know. Who's the active? Matt DiBenedetto. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Talladega a couple years ago. That's right. That was the active driver I was missing was Matt DiBenedetto. You know, I was thinking Rafael Lessard earlier too. I don't know why it listed him as present. I don't think he's raced a race in the top 3 series in a minute. Brandon Witt's on here. Butch Miller. Ryan Reffner. Donnie Leah. Justin Lofton. Ben Kennedy. That's right. Shane Meal. Joey Coulter. Colin Braun. Rick Carlelli. Tony Raines. Clint Boyer I missed. Oh, man. Rich Bickle. Jimmy Hensley. Chad Chaffin. Brian Scott. John Wood. Randy Tolsma. And John Wood's actually in our NASCAR 08 season, too. So that's, yeah. There's definitely some I should have gotten. We barely got above the average score, 82%. Average score was 80%, 103 out of 125. I think when we did this quiz earlier in the season, I thought I did better. I thought we were only like 5 away from the perfect score. So maybe not as good this time around. It's tough. I mean, 125 is a very tough number to get to. So many drivers who have ever won in the Craftsman Truck Series. All right, well, that's going to wrap up our quiz time for this weekend on the channel. Appreciate everybody that played along. Time to go to the NASCAR Fantasy League. You can join the NASCAR Fantasy League on the NASCAR.com website and or NASCAR mobile app for your chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race of your choosing the following season, excluding the Daytona 500 if you win either our regular season and or playoff championship. League locks up in about another 6 minutes from now. I still got to put my fantasy lineup in here last second, so as I'm rushing to do that, these are going to be the guys that I think are going to run well in today's race. Going to keep Tyler Reddick on the team. I think he's going to score a lot of stage points today. Definitely taking... Gibbs probably not going to go for the stage points, but he's had some great runs on road courses so far this season. Another driver I'm going to take Chris Buescher. I just put him in for SVG. Whoops. Got to rush this at the last second. I think Ryan Blaney is going to go for points, but I only have a couple of usages of him left, so not going to do that. Ross Chastain's probably going to go for some points. Probably a wild card lineup for me this week, honestly. Tire management, obviously going to be really huge. All right, I think I've got my team. Gibbs, Buescher, Chastain, SVG, Elliott, and Reddick. And now in the head-to-head matchups, taking SVG for the race win, so I definitely have him beating the 16 of Albendinger. Hamlin or Wallace. That's tough. I think Denny. Chastain or Briscoe, I'm going Chastain. And then Reddick and Cindric, I'm going Reddick. There we go. Midnight Hour, getting the Fantasy League in. And again, you can join on the NASCAR mobile app or NASCAR.com website for your chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race if you're choosing. If you win our league championship, KRC League is the name of the league, by the way. KRC and all cap tickets for paradise. No, not the. I mean, if you count the Daytona 500, auto racing, that's the Indy 500 credentials. Well, I can't give you credentials. Honestly, depending on the price, I don't think I'd be able to get you as good as seats as what I would be able to get you for a lot of other NASCAR races, but I can maybe make that work if somebody did decide to choose the Indy 500. I'd be willing to make that work. Chadwick 4887. Thanks for tuning in. Not sure if you had him, but whoever drove the 99 way back, Eric Darnell, I did have, if that's who you might have been thinking of. Robert Goodrich, welcome back to the stream. Bam Hall, Dark Crypto, Joanne Ellis are some that I have not. Solomon Lee. I don't think I shot at any of you guys out yet. Thank you for playing along. Now on to business. Elimination race in the round of 12 of the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. 109 laps of the Charlotte Roval. Here are the point standings coming into this elimination event. 2 drivers locked into the round of 8 with wins. Chase Elliott at Kansas last week, and the week before that, New Hampshire was won by Ryan Blaney. Kyle Larson, 54 points above the cut line, is the highest in the point standings without a win. Denny Hamlin, plus 48, plus 44 for Christopher Bell, plus 40 for William Byron. Those guys pretty comfortable above the cut line. If we don't see a new winner today of a driver below the cut line, I think they're easily going to make it. But if we do get a new winner, they are still going to have at least a decent day today. I'm talking maybe a few stage points, a top 15 to top 20 run. They basically just can't wreck, which isn't impossible because we're probably going to see a lot of tire fall up today, which could lead to a lot of accidents. Ross Chastain, 13 points below the cutoff line. Joey Logano, plus 13. Those are the last 2 drivers either in or out. Chase Briscoe, plus 21, also kind of right there on that bubble. Minus 26 points for Bubba Wallace. Minus 29, Tyler Reddick. Reddick on the pole. Wallace, pretty good qualifying effort as well. And then Austin Cindric, minus 48. That will round out the playoff grid. You'll see those points scrolling across the top of the screen throughout the course of today's race. That was obviously coming into the event and where they are. Starting lineup for today's Bank of America Roval 400 at the Charlotte Roval will look like this, as you can follow along on screen. Tyler Reddick on the pole yesterday afternoon, beating out Shane Van Gisbergen. Now can he beat him out for the race win, as SVG is the favorite to win the race, and my personal pick to win as well. I picked 12 race winners so far this season. The last one was Ryan Blaney at New Hampshire a couple weeks ago, so try to go for 13 today. Like my chances. SVG was well quicker than everybody else on the longer run in practice, and we will see a ton of fall off. And when I say a ton, I mean a ton. More on that in a couple moments. Ty Gibbs and Kyle Larson will line up in Road 2. Gibbs, good road course races so far this year. Larson, a 2-time Roval winner 2024 and 2021. Chris Buescher, Michael McDowell accomplished road course races in the Cup Series, both with wins in the Cup Series level. Watkins Glen last season for Buescher, Michael McDowell in 2023 at Indy. And row number 4 will be Christopher Bell, a former Roval winner, and Chase Briscoe. Row number 5, another former Roval winner, AJ Allmendinger of 2023, and Ross Chastain. In row number 6 will be playoff drivers Bubba Wallace and Ryan Blaney. William Byron with Denny Hamlin in row 7. Chase Elliott, a 2-time Roval winner in 2020 and 2019, will be in row number 8 on his outside Ty Dillon. Joey Logano, Cole Custer in row 9, and rounding out the top half of the field in row 10, Austin Cindric and Daniel Suarez. Justin Haley, Brad Keselowski make up row 11. Riley Herbst, the rookie, and Zane Smith in row number 12. Alex Bowman, couple runner-up finishes in the Roval in his history here, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. will start in row 13. Carson Hocevar, Kyle Busch deep in the field in row 14. Behind them, row 15, Ryan Preece and Noah Gragson. Row 16 for Todd Gilliland, Cody Ware. Josh Berry, Josh Balicki in row 17. Row 18 for John Nemechek, Austin Dillon. And Eric Jones did not participate in qualifying yesterday. Had power steering issues after practice, so he will be starting last in 37th. And that is your starting lineup for today's race. Our stage splits 25 laps in stage 1, 25 laps in stage 2. Final stage is going to be 59 laps in length to take us to the finish. 5 seconds of fall off over a 12-lap run in practice yesterday. If you watched the Bristol night race a few weeks ago, there was a ton of tire wear in that event. We're going to see very similar tire fall off in today's road course race at the Roval. We have not seen that on a road course in the NASCAR Cup Series, probably ever, let alone with this next-gen car. Too much? I'd probably say so, but it's going to create for a lot of passing opportunities, and we're going to see probably way more pit stops than you would typically see on a normal road course day. Fuel will not be an issue. It's who can manage their tires the best will be the one to go to victory lane. Late breaking updates on USA Network. I'll let you listen into the TV broadcast before the drop of the green flag for today's event.
William Byron and Denny Hamlin as we check in with Pocket Clickerman. Right, Lee, and for William Byron, who's a Charlotte native, he comes in this hometown elimination race, plus 40 above the cut line, which is a comfortable position, but he desperately wants to win in front of his hometown crowd. He's been so close here before in the Coke 600 and in this race, finishing top 5 the last 2 years. The strategy in terms of points is pretty simple for this team. Go on full offense in these first 2 stages, then assess how they have to race in stage 3. Continuing with the grid back in row 8, last week's winner, Chase Elliott, 7 times. He has won at the road courses, 2 here at the Roval. Back in row 9, the first driver currently above the cut line, Joey Logano, only 13 points to the good. He'll start next to Cole Custer. Back in row 10, Austin Cindric, a driver that must win, 48 points below coming in. He runs very well at the road courses. Can magic happen for Cindric today? Back in row 11, Justin Haley and Brad Keselowski, a champ back in 2012. Row 12, we have Riley Herbst, who took that crazy ride last week with Zane Smith. We were tumbling down the banking. Back in row 13, we have Alex Bowman and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Row 14, Carson Hocevar and Kyle Busch, the 40-year-old out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And back in row 15, Ryan Preece will start next to Noah Gragson. Marty Snyder.
Steve, the #1 topic in practice yesterday were tires and how quickly they were wearing out for these Cup Series teams. So Joey Logano is going to approach this Roval race a little bit different, almost like it's a Richmond race, a very high-wear racetrack when it comes to the tires. He's going to be trying to taking care of the tires early in the run. But one interesting point, Lee, is that it's much cooler than it was in practice yesterday. I just asked Paul Wolf seconds ago, do you think the cooler temps will play a factor today? He said, I honestly do not. I think we're going to see that same high tire wear here this afternoon.
That's a good point, mate. A lot more cloud cover today for sure. Let's finish off the Bank of America starting grid, the 16th row. Todd Gilliland and Cody Ware in just his second Roval start. Row 17 features Josh Berry and Josh Balicki in the 66. John Hunter Nemechek and Austin Dillon are on row 18, and it's going to be Eric Jones who starts in the 37th position. So that's where all your favorite drivers will line up here today as we check in with Kim Coon. Kim?
Well, Chase Briscoe is plus 21 to the cut line, and crew chief James Small said it's a big relief not to be in a must-win situation. However, there is still a ton of stress today at a place where anything can happen. But he told me there's one thing that'll make their jobs easier. The fact that they really just have to focus on what the 22 of Logano does. Staying ahead of him all day will guarantee them a transfer, regardless of who wins today's race.
So much conversation about the Roval because it's so interesting and so chaotic. So let's have a closer look with the Bank of America Track Max. Steve? Take us around.
Turns 1 through 7 are basically all the infield. The big focus is at hairpin at turn 7. And then the banking's 8, 9 to the backstretch chicane in turn 10. And then the front stretch chicane is 15, 16, and 17. A combination of second and third gear corners in the slow infield. High speeds north of 150 miles an hour on the banks.
Kim, tell us more.
Yeah, there are a handful of non-playoff drivers who could be in the mix today, including Michael McDowell. The driver of the 71 had a solid practice yesterday, saying the car was very close despite that lack of grip that everybody was suffering. I had a good chat this morning with crew chief Travis Peterson, who told me the Roval is a track that fits the type of things that Michael is good at. Now, what is that? It's being really tidy with how he attacks the track and managing tires. They said this could be an absolute opportunity race for them today, Parker.
And it's definitely an opportunity for another non-playoff driver in Ty Gibbs, who qualified third here today. And I go back to Sonoma in the summer. I talked to this race team as they were going into that race, and Ty had started studying SVG and the things he saw SVG do around the racetrack. As they went into Sonoma, he started to put some of those into practice, and they saw some of the fruits of those labors. As we headed here into the Charlotte Roval, he's been great at the road courses in his short cup career and great in the Xfinity Series as well. And it's definitely those things that he's starting to learn that he saw from SVG that he's putting to practice and could be a threat here to get that first win, Marty.
So, Parker, how will the non-playoff drivers race the playoff drivers? I asked Shane Van Gisbergen that question earlier this weekend, and he said, actually, I have a lot of experience with that. Remember, he was in the playoffs in the last Cup race at Bristol and all night long fighting to keep his playoff hopes alive. And he said, it seemed like every time I got spun in that race, it was a non-playoff driver that did it to me. And I left Bristol mad. And I know recently how that experience made me feel. So I'm going to give them some grace today, the playoff drivers. I'm going to fight for what I need to fight for. And he's clearly the car to beat here this afternoon. But he said, yeah, I'm going to take it easy around the playoff drivers as much as I can, but still fight for the win.
And he's also been very vocal, Marty, in saying, I don't, just because I'm on the track, I haven't won it yet. Leading the field to green, the official pace car for today's race is the 2025 Toyota GR Supra. Time for a pre-race pep talk with the three-time and defending series champion. Here's Joey Logano at Team Penske.
All right, guys, know exactly what we need to do here. A lot of things that can change, and we'll keep our head in the game no matter what. The Roval is unpredictable, so we'll stay calm and fight all the way to the end.
Unpredictable is a key word here, Jeff. How important is turn one and surviving it, more importantly?
Well, we've seen at many races at this racetrack, turn one has caused a lot of issues. It is a very difficult.
All right, getting set to drop the green flag for today's race at the Charlotte Roval. 5 races to go in the NASCAR Cup Series this season. And SVG looking for win number 5 in 2025. Can he make it 5 straight on the road courses? Most consecutive road course wins in NASCAR Cup Series history at 6 with Jeff Gordon. Trying to set himself up to break that record in the spring at Circuit of the Americas. Needs to get through today first. SVG elects the inside of row 1. Oh, sorry, Tyler Reddick is the control car from the pole. He'll elect the outside. Green flag is in the air, and we are underway. SVG kind of slid the rear tires, getting out of the restart zone, making slight contact with Tyler Reddick as they cross the start-finish line, but Reddick is cleared through the first couple of turns with the lead. And tire management from lap 1 going to begin things off here today. Kyle Busch has already gone for a spin at the back of the pack. He started 29th. His spin was in turn 2, a lot of damage to the right front of his race car, and he is having a tough time trying to drive it back around the length of this racetrack. Lap 1, turn 2, Kyle Busch has crashed, and we still stay under green flag conditions. There's no debris left behind from Busch as he limps his way into the pits. Meanwhile, for the rest of the field, scattering their way through the rest of this opening lap. I feel like there's more fans in attendance for the Roval races here than what I'm used to seeing. At least down around where oval turns 1 and 2 is. The hairpin in turn 7. That will probably be the most action-packed corner throughout the course of today's race. Definitely the best passing opportunity as well. Oh, wow. Don't know how it started with Busch, but he ended up in the outside wall very hard. Up out of turn 2. It looked like contact with Carson Hocevar out of turn 1. Hocevar got into the left rear of Busch, and it took all the way until turn 2 before Busch was able to not keep from wrecking his race car anymore and making significant contact with the outside wall. Both those cars started back in the same row in row 15. Didn't take long for them to get together. Tyler Reddick did lead the opening lap of the race, 0.6 of a second out ahead of Shane Van Gisbergen. Again, 25 laps in this opening stage today. And we will see a ton of tire fall off. You want to be able to make passes in the early going, but how hard do you want to push before being at risk of maybe burning your tires off way too early in the run? Drivers who we've seen be able to manage tires well, like a Ryan Blaney, who hasn't won on a road course since winning the inaugural Roval race back in 2018. Can he take advantage of that? Christopher Bell, a win at Bristol a couple weeks ago in that same race, also a former Roval winner. Maybe trying to get a win and get a better chance of making the championship 4, playoff points to go along with it. No surprise, Kyle Busch pulling into the garage area after the contact with the outside wall on that opening lap. So Busch is, if not done for the day, he is definitely going to be on pit road for a lengthy period of time. Top 5 in the running order at the end of the first couple of laps. Tyler Reddick leads, Shane Van Gisbergen is second, Kyle Larson third, Ty Gibbs fourth, and Chris Buescher rounds out the top 5 and fifth. Didn't look like there was any damage for the most part in Hocevar's car. That was all Busch who got up against the fence. SVG from a few car lengths back, diving the inside of turn 7, trying to get by Tyler Reddick. Reddick gave him plenty of room down to the bottom. I'm quite surprised that he was able to win the race back to the gas as much as he did. The more laps we go into this green flag run, the more of an advantage SVG had over other drivers in practice yesterday. He was pacing over a second faster a lap once the field had strung out into about a 10 to 15 lap green flag run. We've seen him win by double-digit seconds multiple times on the road courses this year at both Mexico City and the last one at Watkins Glen, who had a little bit of tire fall off in both of those races. Not to the extent we'll see today, but having even more tire wear, is that going to make for SVG's dominance to be even more to overcome? He's been hounding Tyler Reddick for these first few laps, just kind of inching closer and closer by the time they get to the timing line on the front stretch, lap over lap. Kirion O'Rourke, welcome to the stream. Chris Davis, welcome to the stream as well. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't have the chat poll up. I'll make it simple today. Whoops. Maybe. Who will win? I'm just going to put SVG or other. I want to see what you guys think. I think it's going to be a pretty close poll. It's SVG versus the field today. Because outside of Van Gisbergen, I couldn't really pinpoint exactly who I thought the next best car would be. In practice yesterday, William Byron was pretty quick on the long green flag runs. And when I say quick, I mean second or third. Flirting right there with it. Tyler Reddick was as well, but not to the extent of the speed that SVG had showed. And Van Gisbergen already trying to capitalize off of it here on lap 4 as he gets to the outside of Reddick up out of the bus stop. Outran him all the way through that set of corners, and now will have the advantage on the inside entering the front stretch chicane. Up off the curb, he makes the corner, clears Reddick out of 17, and SVG leads his first lap of the race. Only took 4 laps to get around Tyler Reddick for the race lead. Leader at the end of lap 4, the 88. Reddick did set the fastest lap in the early going. That is a bonus point. 86.738 was the fastest lap, and it surprisingly was on lap 1, which I didn't even think it was possible to run your fastest lap of the race on the first lap, considering you're getting up to speed out of the restart zone, but he was able to do so. Ace Alshire, welcome to the stream. Picked SVG. I mean, I would pick SVG too. Not just because he's my pick to win, but he's got 80% of the 10 votes already. I mean, usually I put like 4 options in there. And yesterday I put the 4 options for the Xfinity race, and Connor Zilic had 69% of the votes out of 4 possible voting options. I think Almirola only had like 4% of the votes. 7% for Sam Mayer, who was the defending winner of the race. And, well, Zilic dominated. He led 61 of an originally scheduled 67 laps. I think they ended up going 68 with the overtime. They went 1 lap past the scheduled distance. Yeah, 61 out of 68 laps were led by Zilich yesterday in the Xfinity race, and I think SVG could have similar dominance today. Might have to pit more because of the tire wear. Therefore, there's a chance maybe he doesn't lead as high of a percentage of laps because of that, but he's going to be a threat. Doesn't need to go for playoff points because he's not racing for the championship anymore, so I don't expect him to go out and try to get some stage points. You saw Joey Logano have a big lockup of his tires on the front stretch chicane that last time through. He made the corner, but you lock the tires up like that this early in the run, you don't want to have to pit for an unscheduled stop because of flat spotting the tire or blistering tires. And Logano being the last driver above the cut line by just 13 points, it's very vital for him to have a good run today. He's in 19th. Ross Chastain, the driver chasing him at minus 13, is 10th right now. I would expect a lot of the cars ahead of Chastain to pit before the end of stage 1. How far in the running order will that cycle the one of Chastain? Because guys who I expect to pit here at the end of stage 1, I expect SVG to pit. Tyler Reddick may stay out. I would expect Reddick is going to stay out. If Reddick doesn't stay out, then he's going for the win. And knowing how fast SVG win the race over the 88, I think he got to go for all the points he can. Logano's out of the top 10 right now, so he can make up quite a few. He was 29 points below. But anyway, I think Reddick stays out. I think Larson pits at plus 54. Gibbs will pit. Buescher will pit. McDowell will pit. Those are all non-playoff drivers. Briscoe would probably only stay... Well, Briscoe's probably staying out because he's plus 21. Bell is pretty good above the cut line. I think the only way he would stay out is for the playoff point itself. And I'd probably say even the same for Larson. Like, if Larson got by Reddick, he might stay out to get the bonus point. But that would be it. And Chastain, I think, would be either 3rd or 4th at the end of the stage if he continues to run where he's at right now in 10th. So he can get some pretty good stage points out of this, and high credit to his qualifying effort yesterday for starting inside the top 10 to give him that opportunity. I mean, I'll leave the poll open until the end of stage 2 per usual, but I don't think it's going to be very tough to decipher who you guys think is going to win today's race. He's won 4 in a row. Now I'm kind of getting a glimpse of what it was like to watch Jeff Gordon on a road course in the 90s. I don't think Reddick is as quick as some of the drivers behind him, maybe leading those laps in the early going, despite the fact that he had SVG hot on his heels, was probably using his equipment up a little bit more than those behind him. We've already seen a ton of tire fall off. In 7 laps, the tires have fallen off over 2 seconds, which mathematically is about right if we had almost 5 seconds of fall off in 12 laps of practice. That last lap by SVG was an 89.131. His fastest lap, 86.875. He was a half a second quicker than Tyler Reddick. And the next fastest car on the racetrack actually was Chris Buescher, who was only a 10th off of SVG's time in 5th. That's just wild. I mean, they are creeping around this racetrack. You can see them slipping and sliding, struggling for grip. 3 wide, in fact, on the front stretch right now. Bell got loose out of the front stretch chicane. Briscoe got underneath him. AJ Allmendinger trying to pass both cars. Briscoe backed out of that middle line and let the 16 by, and Allmendinger clears Bell out of turn 2 also. Great job done by the 16 of AJ.
From Charlotte, the Bank of America Roval 400, and there is racing all up and down the field. And a quick reminder, for all NASCAR fans, you can scan the QR code or visit NASCAR.com/Ford Playoffs promo to enter your chance to win a 2025 Ford Bronco Heritage Edition or an epic Bronco off-rodeo experience. Don't wait, enter now, and good luck. Ty Gibbs trying to fend off Chris Buescher. That's for 4th place, and this has been going on for several laps now. Monster on board. Ty Gibbs, have a listen.
Center the second segment of the chicane at the game.
You see that the 5 has gone by the 45 just right there at the backstretch chicane. Now the 45 is under attack for Gibbs. Buescher's going to want to dive in there as well, I think, if he has a spot. Nope, Gibbs kind of goes through single file. A little bit of patience out of the 54. Parker, what are you hearing on 5?
Well, we're just 9 laps into this first stage here, Steve. We know the talk of the town has been the high tire wear. And one of the things this 5 team has been telling Kyle Larson is out of his exits, out of some of the chicanes, how he's comparing to the 88 car and how straight that car is. Because how do you conserve your tires? Well, you simply don't want to slide them. It's what Kyle Larson's been focusing on is straight exits. And it seems to be working here as we go later in this run. He's taking care of those rear tires. Marty.
Parker, this is what Tyler Reddick in the 45 camp was worried about, kind of losing speed the longer they ran. On lap 2, Billy Scott reminded him on the radio, hey, take care of your tires, especially your rear tires. Listen to this radio.
Be cautious of right of the throttle between 5 and 6, much like, you know, 91 and 2 reform.
So, Steve, would you be reminding your driver on the second lap of the race, hey, make sure you're taking care of your tires? That's how critical it is today.
Second lap, second corner, every lap, I would be reminding my drivers the strategy today is very simple. You are running a 1985 race at Darlington. Every time you slide a tire, the good is gone. It doesn't come back. I love it. It's very throwback. It's very old school. We've seen this sometimes like at Sonoma, Jeff, but I don't remember this at other road courses as now we see, I believe that's Cindric, who has missed the backstretch chicane, comes to a stop. And to try to avoid things like that. And that's going to become easier as the tires wear. It's not just lap time. It's when you are dancing on the edge of grip. It's very easy to slide over it and make a mistake.
When you have tires that's
He
going
is
to wear
struggling.
road force, it hurts braking force. The car does not slow down. It doesn't corner. It doesn't leave under acceleration. It does everything worse. Watch this move Christopher Bell tried to make on his teammate. Getting into this front stretch chicane. Watch this. He tries to outbrake him, but look at the speed he's carrying. He's going so fast he can't make the corner. And then the 16 of Allmendinger saw it, and he took advantage of it. He ends up taking the spot. The 19 of Briscoe loses 2 on the front straightaway.
The Dinger said, well, you guys are fighting it out. I'll just breeze on through on the inside. This is Tyler Reddick with a significant lockup. That's what allowed.
That's the second time we've seen Reddick miss the entry into that rear stretch chicane. And then the 2 lost some track position. We just saw him have trouble, and then matters got worse.
Oh.
Boy. Tagged by Justin Haley.
It doesn't take much.
See, that's a great point. You know, we see contact all the time, and cars don't necessarily spin, but with these tires falling off over 3 seconds in 9 laps, any nudge at all, your car does not have the grip to keep from spinning out.
This was not in the plan for Austin Cindric. He's the 12th and final driver in the playoff standings. He needed a brilliant day, a brilliant weekend, and he is up against it. We got takers on pit road.
Yeah, this tire fall off was so bad. I heard some whispers of even pitting. Remember, they can run 35 laps on fuel, so this isn't a fuel decision. This is just simply a math equation. Part of it says you can run faster on new tires even with a pit stop.
Right. It's just simply the start of this, when this window sort of opens, when you talk to most teams, is going on to pit road after lap 10 or about lap 10 through lap 15. If you want to split these stages, it's going to be 4 Goodyear tires for Daniel Suarez to have the extra grip of those tires.
So one thing interesting about the Roval is just the way pit road cuts off the front stretch chicane and turn 1. You just don't lose a lot of time. You lose about 25 seconds to come change 4 tires. So if your tires can go 4 or 5 seconds faster, you can easily make up more time. Now we see the first playoff car hit pit road, the 2 of Cindric, Marty.
He went from 17th to 36th for Austin Cindric after that backstretch chicane. And another problem for Cindric, there you see it again. That's why he kind of fell further back through the field. They're putting on scuffs here, Steve, not sticker tires for Austin Cindric. A little bit fresher tires, but not as good as sticker tires.
Well, they only have basically 6 sets of stickers in their qualifiers in their pits. So if you know you're going to use every tire available, you might as well go ahead and just burn your qualifiers up, because here's Cindric back on the racetrack all by himself. He's about 25, 30 seconds in front of the leaders, about 30 seconds behind anybody else he's racing. He's kind of a little bit of no man's land. Pit road going to be very busy here. Here you go. A whole wave coming to pit road. You see Blaney, you're on board with Briscoe, who'll turn left, stop in service of his crew, Kim.
Yeah, Briscoe just been playing super loose on the big track, so just that kind of balance of getting it right in the infield portion with the oval portion is giving him a little trouble as we look at Chase Elliott, bottom right, finishing up that pit stop. He's one of the drivers I haven't heard major complaints. He said it's respectable right now, Marty.
If you want to talk to Jonathan Hassler, the crew chief for Ryan Blaney this morning, he said one thing I can tell you, I'm glad we have it there. So don't have to worry about the chaos today. Lenny said, actually, I feel like we're pretty good through the slow parts of the corner, kind of hung around the back half of the top 10, and a three-way drag race there off pit road lead as they head back out on the track.
Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Chase Elliott. The drivers at Crew Chiefs will tell you they set the cars up more for the infield than the oval. The oval's not a big deal, but Kip brought up that point from the Briscoe said about getting loose in the oval part. Watch Kyle Larson earlier through NASCAR turn 4. The tail end of these cars are getting very loose, and it is a lot in the driver's hands. Up over the blind crest, just how tight this is. Look to the left, back up onto the big track. Van Gisbergen has not even thought about coming to pit road just yet. He boasts a 2.6 second lead. Make that a little bit more now over Kyle Larson. Kim standing by.
Yeah, you see that Busch Light onboard from Ross Chastain early in the run, tight rolling all the corners compared to yesterday. Then the areas in turn 5 and 6, he was slipping the rears. At the end of this run, Parker, he said all 4 tires feel like balloons just way overinflated.
Chris Roval had said something I hadn't heard many drivers saying that he was actually tight inside that race car trying to get into turn. They let him know late on the run that he was doing well in having pace and saving his rear tires. Also, his teammate Denny Hamlin here on pit road right now. Admittedly, not the best on road courses, but maybe this chaos was an opportunity, Marty.
As he promised, Joey Logano towards the front lead. He took it very easy early in that run. Lost a couple spots. Was able to gain some position. Terrific look from the Hunt Brothers onboard pizza camera. Joey Logano heading back out on the track like everybody else, just saying absolutely no grip out here at the Roval.
13 laps left to go in this opening stage.
I think what's interesting right now, Steve, is how hard do you run these tires? Typically, you put new tires on, you just go run as fast as you can. Just don't worry about tire wear. But today, are you better off saving a little bit, not going out and laying a real fast lap time down? So over the course of the run, the average speed is better.
Well, as you see on the bottom left, a penalty for John Hunter. Nemechek too fast entering pit road. The challenge for all these cars is Noah Greg said the 4 that just passed, they have a huge tire advantage, but Noah's yet to pit. So you have to use some tire to kind of get by those guys. And I'll be honest, the advantage SVG has is he had such a great race car. I don't see why he needs to pit. The guys on new tires are barely running faster than the leader. So right now, I think SVG could just kind of stay out here in a Sunday cruise and wait till the stage ends.
There's 12 drivers yet to come to pit road. And the race being led by is some 8 seconds adrift now of the race leader and Buescher and Allmendinger.
As far as he just ran an 89 flat, that is only 1.3 seconds faster than SVG, Parker. As we look at Kyle Larson there, exiting out of turn 7, something interesting down in his pit crew was on the wall with sticker tires, which we've seen a lot of these teams put on. But one option you have is your qualifying scuff set, basically. I saw them take the stickers off the wall, and they put up this time the tires from qualifying, the scuff set here, possibly to utilize these at the end of the stage.
I like that plan, Parker. I think just using them up early is the right way. We're here in the 88, might come to pit road this time. Probably just afraid he's losing too much time. Jeff, you mentioned the lap time, right? It was about a second faster. So the 88 will come off the banking onto pit road. The 5 as well, I'm sure will chase him off in the distance. There he is, the 5 of Larson. If you're in the 88 and you have such a speed advantage, this is when you're basically chewing your nails. You do not want to make a mistake and give up track position with a penalty, Parker.
And it's been really interesting listening to Kyle Larson's radio as Cliff Daniels has been giving him constant updates on how he compares to SVG and what SVG was even complaining about in terms of his rear tires and telling him he's been doing a good job in keeping the rear tires on this car, Marty.
Just like Larson, SVG coming down pit road on the same lap, also going to go with scuff tires as well. A little bit longer on the left rear there. They debated on running this all the way until about lap 23, but SVG just said there's absolutely no rear grip left in the 88, so he heads back out on the track.
88 should easily be the first car to have pitted. There's the 5. He's going to be racing this 54 right here of Gibbs, who pitted a couple laps ago. So you see what 2 laps on fresher tires did for Ty Gibbs. He closed right up to the rear bumper of the 5 of Larson. Now you would imagine the new tires is going to help the 5. Buescher remain on the racetrack with Reddick, Wallace, Keselowski, Zane Smith all get to pit. So the top 5 cars may be trying to nurse these tires all the way to the finish, save a set of tires. Let's just see what they have to do. We still have 11 laps to go in the first stage.
Good opening stage by this driver here. Ty Gibbs in the 54 Monster Camry.
Commercial break on USA Network. We'll go through the full field running order. Again, the top 5 have not hit pit road yet. Chris Buescher leads. Tyler Reddick in second. And then in third would be Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski fourth, Zane Smith in fifth. Shane Van Gisbergen is in sixth. Kyle Larson 7th. Ty Gibbs 8th. Ninth place is Ross Chastain. Then I'm waiting for the leaderboard to update on our end, and then I'll go through it all the way. SVG was just on pit road the last lap, so it'll take until Buescher crosses the start-finish line this time around for the leaderboard to fully update again. I was reading the top of the screen that USA Network had during their side-by-side commercial break, but it wasn't as accurate with ours yet, so I'll hold off for a second. Should Reddick pit? I would assume he's staying out to try to get some stage points. And his lap time isn't that bad. Can the tires actually hold on for 25 laps? So we don't know. Because they didn't have enough time allotted to be able to run 25 laps in practice with a 25-minute session. Some drivers are barely able to make over 15 just from running from the start of the 25-minute session to the end of it. So we don't know exactly how far they could go, but he could save a set of tires and maybe get stage points out of it. That could be knocking 2 birds out with 1 stone there for Reddick. If there's a way for him to hold on, even if he doesn't hold on to second, finishes like 4th or 5th, I think it could be worth it. Chris Buescher ends up with the race lead following green flag pit stops. And it looks like SVG's gotten back up to 3rd anyway. Tyler Reddick's in 2nd, SVG 3rd, then Bubba Wallace 4th, Kyle Larson in 5th, Ty Gibbs 6th, 7th for Brad Keselowski, Zane Smith 8th, Christopher Bell 9th, Ross Chastain 10th, Michael McDowell in 11th, and then Ryan Blaney 12th, Daniel Suarez 13th, Chase Briscoe 14th, AJ Allmendinger 15th, Chase Elliott 16th, William Byron 17th, Ty Dillon 18th, Denny Hamlin 19th, and Joey Logano in 20th. Alex Bowman 21st, Todd Gillen 22nd, Noah Gragson 23rd, Ryan Preece 24th, Carson Hocevar in 25th, 26th for Cole Custer, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 27th, Eric Jones 28th, Justin Haley 29th, and Riley Herbst, in 30th. 31st for Josh Berry, Josh Bilicki 32nd, 33rd Austin Dillon, Cody Ware 34th, Austin Cindric 35th, John Nemechek 36th, and Kyle Busch had that opening lap crash. He is back out in the racetrack, but 11 laps down in 37th. No cautions, even with that Busch opening lap incident. 8 laps to go yet in stage 1 this time by at the line. Showing a replay 4 wide in the infield section of the track. Couple cars on older tires. Zane Smith, Brad Keselowski trying to hold on with guys on new tires. Contact was made between Smith and Keselowski, trying to stay out of others' way. And Briscoe actually kind of ran into the 38 and the 6, trying to drive it in deep to clear as many guys as possible, as quick as possible.
Determine who will be the drivers in the round of 8.
Chris, yeah, sorry, Dip. I was going to say, Busch is yet to pit, right? Reddick's 2nd.
Yeah.
So Buescher has 8 seconds over SVG. SVG's running about 4 seconds a lap faster on the fresher tires. So I think there's really 2 choices, Kim. These guys can either pit with 3 laps to go, or they can run all the way to the end of the stage. What are you hearing?
Yeah, after that kind of green flag cycle, they came on the radio and told Chris Buescher that this play that they're seeing other teams do, they don't think is really any faster. So they told him, manage the tires as much as you can, because if we can run it out, it should put us in a really good spot with an extra set of tires. So I think they're intending to go through the end of the stage for the 17.
Kim, I'm going to call them half right. I love the idea of saving an extra set of tires. I think they're dead on. But I do think pitting is faster, because I think when traffic gets to them, Jeff, they're going to be pushed offline. And I think they're going to lose a lot of spots really, really quick. For sure, this 88's coming through. 45 of Reddick, also on old tires. So let's ride on board with the 45 instantly. Look how much better the fresh tires for the 88. Really no defense. I think it's really how efficiently you can get past. Is that really a thing? Like, that sounds silly, Jeff, but I think if you could just do it without getting offline, getting stuff on your tires.
Where you get past is really important. If you get past, say you get on the outside here, you see all the tire rubber that's built up on the racetrack, you can lose 4 or 5 seconds. So you can help. You're just trying to make the best average lap time you can if you're Tyler Reddick and you're Chris Buescher. So kind of letting those guys by at the right time is actually better for you.
Marty?
Lee, what's the plan for the 45 team and Tyler Reddick? Listen in.
Doing fine here. A lot of guys are breaking this off. It's going to definitely stop on tires. So we'll just stick to our plan right now.
So Billy Scott agrees with Scott Graves in saying, hey, I think this is going to put us at a tire advantage later. But you saw one problem, Steve. That's the fact that SVG was literally 4.5 seconds, now 5 seconds faster than Tyler Reddick. The other problem is when they line up to start stage 2, they're planning on flipping the stage here. The stickers lining up behind them. That's the issue with the 45 strategy. We'll see how it plays out, but they are trying to save a set of tires for later as more cars go by Tyler Reddick.
You know, we're just going to have to see what they do, whether they decide to pit with 3 to go or run the stage out. Reddick doing a really nice job of kind of holding his line, forcing the others to get offline. You see the back of that car dancing around. Really very little rear grip.
Remember, what they're banking on is that they will have an extra set of tires, right? So they have one pathway to make the next round of the playoffs
Win.
with this car, and that's to win the race, right? So they're going to give up some track position.
It wasn't like that way,
Race where a lot of
but they
people are
put
having to
themselves
pit
into
with new
that bubble
tires
now
on.
because
And we can
they're losing
see
too
if
many
you have these
positions.
Tires, it's a big advantage. So willing to give up some now to potentially have an advantage later.
Hopefully have something later. 5.5 laps to go in this opening stage of the Bank of America Roval 400. Here comes SVG on Chris Buescher. Van Gisbergen's already been down pit road, already got some fresh tires on. And that WeatherTech Chevrolet for Trackhouse is back in the lead again. Is it going the way you thought it was going to go? Many would say yes, maybe some no. A long way to go.
Long way to go indeed. Top 10 in the running order. Chris Buescher leads. SVG in second. Well, I should say SVG just made a pass for the lead. Hasn't updated on our leaderboard yet, but it'll be Van Gisbergen in first and Chris Buescher second. Kyle Larson in third. Ty Gibbs fourth. Christopher Bell in fifth. Then Tyler Reddick is sixth. Seventh for Ross Chastain. Michael McDowell eighth. AJ Allmendinger in ninth. And rounding out the top 10, Ryan Blaney. Alpine fan, welcome to the stream. Does SVG pit before the stage? I don't think so. You know, I was kind of thinking about that, and then with the tire fall off, even if you have 2 to 3 lap fresher tires than another driver, that's a massive advantage. If we're seeing 3 seconds of fall off, basically a second of fall off every 3 laps nearly. You know, if you pit early, 2, 3 to go in the stage, you're going to have a harder time trying to hold on at the front of the field. I just don't think it's even possible, really, for those that do pit at the end of the stage. The later you can pit, the more opportunity of saving a set of tires or 2 at the end of the race as well, especially with burning one up already in this first stage. Because if you think about it, if a lot of these teams pull the same strategy again in stage 2, we're going to get to lap 50 of 109, which is less than halfway through the race, and these teams will have burnt 3 of 6 of their sets of tires. Actually, really, at the end of stage 2, that'd be their 4th set. And then it'd, only have 2 sets left the rest of the race? And then the qualifying scuffs, obviously. So technically, they would have 3 sets, but they would only have 2 sets of sticker tires if they don't use scuffs. I don't know. I just think they're pitting too early. I do like this strategy for Buescher and Reddick. I think mathematically, it makes sense, assuming we get long green flag runs, which so far that is the case, and we tend to see that on road courses anyway. A lot of time left in this race. 3 lead changes. SVG back out in front again. He's led the most laps so far. 12 laps led. Buescher was able to lead for 5. And Tyler Reddick was able to lead for 3. A couple other drivers might have led a lap during green flag pit stops, but that would have been about it. SVG's lead over Kyle Larson, 4.5 seconds. We're over half hour into the race already, and we're only 21 laps in. That's how much tire fall off we've seen so far out of 109. This is going to be a long race because of the slow pace. I was expecting that coming in, and here we are. Playoff standings as they run. Ross Chastain, last driver in, +7 over Joey Logano, based off of Chastain being in 6th. Should be able to pick up another spot at Chris Buescher here to get to 5th place with about 3.5 laps to go in the stage. There goes Chastain with the move down to the inside. Pass successful. Doubt Buescher's going to be able to hold on into the top 10. Reddick has already fallen out of the top 10, so no stage points for the 45. I don't think Reddick was in a must-win situation. If he could have maybe pitted and then finished 2nd or 3rd in the stage, right where he was running. Buescher on pit road with AJ Allmendinger and Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, we kind of heard the radio of the 17 talk about the possibility of running it out. At one point, about 2 laps ago, they said, we hear your rear grip is going away. We'll be ready if you need it. So they will flip this stage, Marty.
AJ Allmendinger also going to flip this stage along with Ryan Blaney, getting some fresh gear tire. Tyler Reddick also will come down pit road as well. He fell all the way back from 15th after starting on the pole today. Michael Jordan is here in the 45 pit box watching on. Reddick didn't really say a word about the handling of the race car. We'll see if this strategy pays off for the fresher tires that will be available to them later in the race, Kim.
And his teammate Bubba Wallace also taking the opportunity to pit. It's been a struggle this entire run. In fact, early in the run, he said, guys, I am already struggling. So just trying to hang on to that 23.
Boy, that was close. Sorry, Marty, go ahead.
I was going to say it's been a frustrating race for Austin Cindric. He's coming down pit road as well. There he hits his pit stall. He has been back in 36 for much of this race after missing the backstretch chicane a couple of times. 4 fresh gear tires will certainly help here before the end of stage 1.
Yeah, it's been a rough day. Been a rough start for the 2 from Team Penske.
So Cindric was already in a must-win situation coming in. I wouldn't say that was necessarily the case for Bubba Wallace or Tyler Reddick if they could have scored a lot of stage points in comparison to Joey Logano, who came in the last driver above the cut line in 13th. Because Joey Logano's not looking at getting any stage points, they could have capitalized off that, but both Reddick and Wallace on a strategy to try to save a set of tires to the end of the race to try to get themselves in a better position to maybe win under late race caution circumstances. It's a big gamble because, especially for Tyler Reddick, I mean, he probably would have gotten 2nd or 3rd place stage points if he would have just pitted with the rest of the field. Could have got 8 or 9 points. He does that again in stage 2, and he puts himself within single digits of Logano going into the final stage. And Joey Logano has been struggling all day today. I mean, he's been around 20th this whole race. I think they legitimately could have pointed their way in. Reddick, in particular, maybe not Wallace because he didn't have the same speed, but I think Reddick could have pointed his way in. So this is a big gamble trying to go for the win, thinking that that was their only shot, because I really don't think that that was. And now pitting a couple laps before the end of the stage here rather than at the stage end itself, I think is going to be even worse for him because he's going to stay out. And now he's going to be on a couple lap older tires. I don't know. I feel like this team's shooting themselves in the foot. Trying to go for the race win when you know SVG is as dominant as he is today, I just don't think you're getting the race win. That's another reason why I would have taken the points and tried to go that route to get your way in, because I know you don't want to sacrifice and the will to win and all that. You don't want to just surrender a chance to win, but at some point you just got to accept that one guy's much better than the other. And there is another opportunity that they could have had, and now it's not the case. I mean, Logano, again, lack of points, even compared to Ross Chastain, it was -13. Chastain, as of right now, would be above the cut line if he were to finish 5th in both stages and finish 5th in the race. And Joey Logano, who is in 11th, again, not in stage point position. I'm actually surprised he's running as high as he is. Hamlin actually just passed Logano for 11th as well, so Joey's still not looking at any stage points here. Chastain trying to outpoint him by as much as he can in this first stage. Makes it easier for me to be able to follow as a fan on the points battle side of things, knowing that Reddick, Wallace, and Cindric are in must-win situations now. And then we're just solely focusing on Chastain versus Logano for points. There's a chance Chastain could catch Briscoe as well, but he'd have to outpoint him by 21, and Briscoe's only 2 spots behind Chastain. So although Chastain's looking to get good stage points, so is the 19 team. Final lap of the stage, meanwhile, for not Ross Chastain, his teammate, Shane Van Gisbergen, and SVG is going to go on to win the opening stage by 8 seconds over Kyle Larson. Just 25 laps, a pit stop in there, and SVG wins by 8.2 to 8.3 seconds over Kyle Larson. Ty Gibbs in third was right on the heels of Larson, crossing the start-finish line. Then Christopher Bell fourth and Ross Chastain fifth. Sixth for Michael McDowell. Chase Briscoe 7th, Chase Elliott 8th, William Byron 9th, and Ty Dillon rounding out the top 10. Yeah, Logano's up there because people pitted. Yeah, that's right. That cycled him up a little bit, but he still didn't get inside the top 10, so it really didn't matter for this point in the race. So he didn't get any stage points. He was 12th at the end of the stage, so. Chastain was 13 back. He scored 6 points in stage 1 to Logano's 0. That means he's 7 points back entering stage 2. Chastain versus Logano for that final playoff spot to move into the round of 8. Got over 90 people concurrently watching. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll take our first break. You're listening live on KRC to NASCAR Cup Series Bank of America Roval 400 full race coverage. Troy the Great, welcome into the stream. I saw you in the chat earlier. Sarah India, I don't think I shouted you out. Super B-Man 1. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. H. Holly D. I do think a lot of these teams pitted way too many times. The teams that pitted to stay out this time on the restart rather than going for the stage points, I don't know. For the drivers who were eliminated in the playoffs already, they could actually finish the point standings as high as 5th. You're not designated to finishing in that 4-spot range in the playoffs from where you were eliminated. Once you're eliminated, at the end of the 10 races, it's 5th through 16th scored on however many points you score in that 10-race stretch. On top of, obviously, the playoff points for the regular season. So if you look at the driver standings coming in, 13th in points was Bowman, SVG 14th, Austin Dillon, and Josh Berry 15th, 16th. The day SVG's having today, if he can win both stages and win the race, and after we see the 4 eliminations, especially with not a good round going for Cindric, if Wallace and Reddick don't get great finishes in this race today, I mean, there's a chance that SVG could actually be 9th or 10th in points at the end of this race. Now it's going to be tough with 4 ovals the rest of the season for him to maybe stay inside the top 10 in points for the rest of the year, but there is a pathway, and I mean, he had a top 10 at Kansas, so maybe at Vegas next week somehow he's able to squeak out a top 15 or have a decent run at the very least. In Talladega, you never know what could happen after that. Super Speedway. Roy Hengley, welcome to the stream. NASCAR 25 week. Career mode. Go SVG. So you guys are going to be able to vote for who I'm going to race as on NASCAR 25. We'll have some voting polls that will open up starting this week on the channel. I'll be doing a career mode playthrough, which is just going to be my own character, and then I'm going to be doing season mode playthroughs from ARCA, Truck, Xfinity, and Cup, just like I do for the classic games on the channel. So season mode, you guys will get to pick the driver I race as for the season mode via driver polls, and then my own career mode as well. So that'll be the NASCAR 25 content. We'll do some online lobbies probably once a week or once every other week on the channel also. So a lot of content coming up during the week on the channel. And as far as weekend commentary, obviously we'll still be doing that as well for these last few weeks of the season. During the off season, more NASCAR 25 content also.
In collaboration with September's Blood Cancer Awareness Month, the partners have unveiled a one-of-a-kind paint scheme on NASCAR Cup Series regular season champion William Byron's number 24 Valvoline Chevrolet. Enjoying VIP treatment today are the local children responsible for the inspiring artwork. Well done, kids. And a great cause.
A great cause near and dear to Mr. Hendrick's heart, a leukemia survivor himself. So just I know we spoke about it some this week when they unveiled the paint scheme, but I know it's very important to the organization, to Valvoline, to everybody on board. It's a great cause. It's great to see. It's a good looking car. I checked it out in the garage area. And doing what William Byron needs to do. Only ninth doesn't seem like much, but some points scored for the Valvoline team there, the 24 car, that Valvoline on board. I'll bring up real quick. I know it's been chaotic with green flag pit stops, but just keep this in mind with what we expect to see a wave of yellow flag pit stops here. Other than Mexico City, these are surprisingly the shortest pit boxes on the series. You don't think that, right? Big Charlotte Motor Speedway. You think pit road should be fine. Well, keep in mind they're very, very small. So these crew chiefs have got to be very clear with their drivers. Remember Bell, race 1 at Darlington, pulling out, smashed the nose of his race car. So guys like Paul Wolf right here, they're going to have to be very clear with their intentions to get their drivers in and out of the pit box. How about Chase Briscoe, Kim?
Yeah, lots of drivers complaining about cars, including Chase Briscoe. Needs lateral grip, but he's got another complaint. Take a listen.
I don't know if we have that's when you need cold water with a hole on the top, and I don't know if you guys have anything like allergen medicine, something I can take.
Oh boy, that doesn't sound good for Chase Briscoe.
Now listen, if it's nerves nausea, I'm okay with it. But if it's stomach bug nausea, then that's going to be a long day.
Yeah, I've been in that situation, and certainly it's worse under caution, right? Now you're like, oh no, what's wrong with me? If I have a major problem here, right? You're thinking about it. Can you give me some medicine? Give me something to take. Just give him a placebo.
It's going to fix it.
You're good.
Pit road has been a topic of conversation, Kim Coon, during these playoffs. Let's see how they handle the pressure this time by.
Yeah, Ross Chastain said, I'm just so tight 7. In fact, tight everywhere, but I do feel like I turned better than the last set of tires. So right now I also need more rear grips, and they did make an air pressure adjustment, Parker.
Same comments for Christopher Bell, who finished 4th in stage 1, just said he's tight in that car with losing the rear tires last 3 laps for Kyle Larson. He was asking the team if NASCAR was playing the sweeps of marbles off the track, and considering where he's going to restart, Marty. Shane Van Gisbergen told his team it was better, but today is going to be all about taking care of the rears. Everybody's going to talk about that. That 88 team will lose spot here on pit road, and Ross Chastain overshoots it, leaving pit road. What a fantastic stage 1 it was for that team, but how many spots will he lose right there?
It's going to be interesting to see how NASCAR scores that, because you're technically scored at the yellow line, which is the end of pit road. So right here, watch the 1 car. He's going to cross the yellow line right there. And then, do we know he doesn't make the corner, locks up the tires? So I could see that A, he gets his spot back, or I could say B, he loses the spot because he didn't maintain pace car speed. We'll get NASCAR's ruling when we return.
That's interesting. It looked like he would have turned down, but Michael McDowell didn't really give him a lot of room to do so. McDowell was on the inside of Chastain when they left pit road. And Jim Troyer welcome into the stream also. Just over 80 people watching. Greatly appreciate you all tuning in for today's live commentary stream of the Bank of America Roval 400 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Round of 12 finale, Chastain versus Logano for the final playoff spot on points, while Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and Austin Cindric need a win to get in based off of no stage points in stage 1 or where they were in the points coming in as well. Logano got no stage points in the opening stage. Chastain got 6, so the 13-point pre-race deficit is now down to 6. So I'm going to actually update that at the top of the screen real quick. So let's see. We'll go 7 points, sorry. 13 down to 7. I'll go plus 7 for Logano. And then Briscoe will be plus 19 because he was only 2 spots behind Chastain. So updating the points up at the top of the screen as we finish out the stages. So that way you'll know by the time stage 3 starts, that's 1 point per position, and they're really going to be in danger of not making it through to the next round, at least by way of an automatic lock on points. Christopher McComas, Zachary Powers, welcome in. You guys getting your shout outs as well. Like the poll and who's going to win SVG versus the field this week. It's tight, too. 54%. That went down a lot, by the way. It was 80% through like the first 15 votes in favor of SVG. I'll leave it open until the end of stage 2, per usual. So definitely make sure to vote for who you think is going to win today's race. Obviously, with SVG winning the stage, playoff points not really going to matter for him anymore the rest of the season, but he does get 10 regular season points, which again, he can finish as high as 5th in the season standings at the end of the year. Pink web outside the normal nets. Yes. Yeah, they've been doing that the last several years for Breast Cancer Awareness Month and any race in the month of October.
Everything we want here, all at the one racetrack. Plenty of action and plenty of things to talk about in this elimination race of the playoff, especially this exit off pit road by Ross Chastain.
Major mistake by Ross Chastain. He was just carrying too much pace and could not turn. He ended up having to stop and watch all the cars go by him. So he wasn't involved in
Now,
the wreck.
McDowell
He just
definitely gave
simply
him room.
Made a mistake. Here he is stopped. All these cars go by him, and he is going to line up.
Wow.
When he rolls back in,
Check
just
this
simply
out.
misses it. Just simply misses it.
He looks left, and then he's like, oh, I'm not going to make it left. So here's the ruling, right? He scored relative to the 71 right here. But then as soon as he doesn't maintain the speed of the rest of the field, when he goes straight and stops, all these cars that are passing him, in my mind, that is no different than shutting the car off under yellow and it's stalling and cars driving by you on the racetrack. You can lose position.
It's a self-inflicted error.
It's different than if everyone stops because they have to let the field by. You see right here, here's the onboard. He turns the wheel, watch it go straight. It just isn't reacting.
Well, he turned too late. He just didn't get
right.
pointed quick enough. And look, you just talked about before the end of that stage, the points that he earned compared to Joey Logano. He would have come off pit road in 15th.
Yeah.
He is now 30th.
Oh,
And Joey Logano came off pit road in 18th. That is a major mistake.
We were just singing his praises before that round of stops. Let's check in with our Hall of Famer, Dale Jarrett. DJ, what did you make of that?
Yeah, well, we were going to talk about how great a job Ross Chastain did there, getting those points that he needed to close that gap with Joey Logano. Giving these spots back is going to be very difficult there. The other thing is, now we have a shorter stage. Steve, is anybody going to think about trying to run it any longer here?
that's a great question, DJ. Because of these yellows, we're going to restart with 21 to go. So the whole idea of saving a set of tires is 4 laps easier on this stage right here. Although I don't know if easy and tire life go together today. Those seem to be a pretty big challenge.
Well,
Good opportunity to save a set, though, especially for the drivers who pitted twice in stage 1 and burned an extra set compared to those who might have only pitted once. So lap 30 on the restart, 21 to go in stage 2. AJ Allmendinger will be the new leader. He'll be on the outside of row 1. Inside of row 1, Chris Buescher. Row 2 going to be Ryan Blaney and Daniel Suarez. Row 3, Alex Bowman alongside Tyler Reddick. Green flag back in the air. Allmendinger leads his way through turns 1 and 2. Not a great restart on the inside of row 1 for Chris Buescher. Ryan Blaney going to get through into second in that Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Buescher does get down in line in third, though, before Daniel Suarez can get by him. SVG 3 wide under Bubba Wallace and Austin Cindric, 2 playoff drivers above him. Larson trying to follow him into that 3 wide hole. About 2 to 3 lap pressure tires for those that pitted during the stage break, and that will be an advantage because we've seen almost a second of fall off over a 3-lap stretch. So Van Gisbergen and Larson trying to race their way around the slower cars and to the front of the field. SVG around the outside of Custer into turn 7. Larson couldn't quite catch the back of both of them. Not a good drive off the exit of turn 7 for Larson either. SVG, though, not clear of the 41 yet. I would imagine he'll be able to outbrake him into this bus stop down the back straightaway. And Alex Bowman in the 48, not that much further ahead of the 88. SVG clears Custer. Now attacking on Bowman. AJ Allmendinger continues to lead. SVG to the inside of Bowman in the 48 car. Will crossover move as he's up to 6th. Larson still back in the 9th spot. Has not yet gotten to Custer. Top 5, all the drivers on older tires, one of which, Tyler Reddick, kind of overcooked the front stretch chicane just a bit, smoking the tires. Every time you do that, that's just much more wear than the last. 3 wide through the front stretch chicane. Denny Hamlin in the middle of it. Sandwiched between Stenhouse and another car. Couldn't tell who that was around him. Now he's got 3 wide in his rear view with Briscoe. Herbst and Nemechek. And Herbst, or sorry, not Herbst, but Chase Briscoe has to make sure he does not wreck here. He's only 21 points above the cutoff line. And plus 19 based off the stage points scored by Chastain back in stage 1. Now back in traffic. And obviously Chastain back in traffic as well. It's going to be much harder for Chastain to try to get some stage points here in stage 1. Which means he might have to end up beating Logano by 7 positions in order to move his way into the next round. Alan Talent, welcome to the stream. Happened to Kyle Busch. I've seen a couple of people ask that. He got in a crash on lap 1, turn 2. Contact with Carson Hocevar coming out of the first turn. Clipped him in the left rear. Busch ended up in the outside wall. Smacked it hard with the right front. He ended up in the garage area for a bit. He is back out on the racetrack, but currently 9 laps down in the 37th and last place position. He's the only car off the lead lap, so he did get a free pass to get one of those laps back at the stage end, which is the only caution we've seen so far today. That was at lap 25. We had 3 laps of caution during that stretch. So far, 4 lead changes today. Sorry about that. And 54 minutes into the race. Very slow race pace with the amount of high tire fall off that we've seen in the action amongst us. AJ Allmendinger's lead only 0.7 of a second over Ryan Blaney, 1.1 seconds to Chris Buescher in third. Suarez in fourth, 1.6 seconds off the lead and 2 seconds back for Tyler Reddick in fifth. That would have been the last time across the start-finish line, which was the first complete lap after the restart to begin stage 2. This race is everyone else versus SVG, I do believe. The only thing that could take Van Gisbergen out of it is if he gets involved in a wreck, being in the middle of the pack on a restart, kind of like he is now, in the middle of the pack, or at least in 6th. Or a late race restart situation where we see a caution, it forces some drivers onto pit road, maybe some stay out, and he's not able to get to the lead with enough laps. Those are the only 2 situations where I see him not winning this race. He's definitely got the speed capable of winning, and not only capable, but he's just that much better than the rest of the field that it's going to be very difficult for anybody else to sweep away the win from him. Which if he does, he'll end up with 5 wins on the year and match him with Denny Hamlin for the most in the season. Somebody smoking into the front stretch chicane, cleaning out Austin Cindric. It's Carson Hocevar again. The wrecking ball has struck again. Carson Hocevar. And this time he takes out playoff driver Austin Cindric. I couldn't tell who that was that locked it up, and I think he broke the toe link of the 2 car. I mean, he was on the binders for a long time. Sliding, clipped Cindric in the right rear. Cindric goes around. Hocevar misses the front stretch chicane, has to come to a stop and go penalty on the exit of the corner. But he couldn't have hit the 2 car more square in that right rear tire. He hit him so square, it looked like it bent the toe length for Austin Cindric, who was in a must-win situation today. He was just outside the top 10 at the end of stage 1. And unfortunately now it looks like he's going to either have a lengthy pit stop or head into the garage area for a couple laps, and that's going to take him out of any contention to win this race. Cindric's also going to have to go the long way around to get back to pit road since that was on the front stretch. That's the second driver that Hocevar, has gotten into today. Busch on lap 1, and now Cindric, literally 36th and 37th in the running order was Carson Hocevar's fault. Oh my gosh. Like, Busch is back in the race, but he's 9 laps down, and Cindric will probably be able to continue, but he's going to be several laps down. I mean, he could have been on the brakes for so long. He overcooked it by a mile. And I think when he locked the brakes up and started losing control at that point, I mean, there was no chance of saving it, especially with how slick the tires have been today. Warmer temperatures in the Charlotte area this weekend as well, also kind of leading to some higher track temps and more slicker conditions with the tire fall-off seen. Hocevar's actually got a flat left front, so he definitely flat-spotted a tire in the midst of that lockup. He's on his way to pit road. Austin Cindric in the 2 right there with him. as he tries to catwalk his way into the pits.
Just nothing has gone right.
By the way, Hocevar did serve his stop and go on the back stretch. Marty, tell us more.
You guys have summed it up for Austin Cindric. Team Penske probably not going to be able to make it to the round of 8 with this 2 car. They've had 2 penalties in the backstretch where they've had to stop in the chicane, a full stop. Austin did tell Brian Wilson it's a clean break of the right rear toe link. They're going to pit now to service that toe link, then go around the track, come back down pit road for fresh tires. But you can see the leaders flashing by Austin Cindric right now as he takes in 35th with the football folks dashed here at the Roval.
Yeah, here in the 48 below, Diff. So it was a win or nothing. No chance of winning for the 2 car.
Celsius.
All right, well, that's another playoff driver eliminated for good following the moment that just transpired on track where a broken right rear toe link for the 2 of Cindric after contact with Carson Hocevar on the front stretch chicane. So Cindric will lose several laps on pit road as his team goes to work. So AJ Allmendinger is still the race leader. Ryan Blaney in second during the commercial break right now. Chris Buescher in third. Daniel Suarez fourth. Tyler Reddick in fifth. Then Shane Van Gisbergen is sixth. Seventh for Kyle Larson. Christopher Bell eighth. Michael McDowell ninth. And Alex Bowman rounds out the top 10. Lap 35 of 109 in today's race. 1 caution, 4 lead changes, 3 caution laps. The only yellow lap 25 at the stage end. SVG has led the most laps so far today, and he also won stage 1. 19 laps led so far for the 88. AJ Allmendinger has led the last 7. 5 laps led for Chris Buescher, 3 for Tyler Reddick are the 4 drivers to lead at least 1 lap in the race today. SVG got those 6 positions gained on the restart, but he hasn't gained another spot since. McDowell up 7 positions from the restart. Elliott, Byron both up 6 as well. Same for Ryan Preece and Josh Berry. Those are the biggest movers. Jonathan Nemechek lost 19 positions on the restart. He's back to 28. Not sure exactly what happened to the 42. Bubba Wall's down 8 spots, down 6 for Cole Custer. Alex Bowman has lost 5 positions from 5th to 10th. So those are the biggest movers up and backwards in the running order since we went racing in stage 2. 15 laps to go in the second stage. You're listening live on KRC as our NASCAR Cup Series full race coverage continues on the channel. Chat poll for who you think is going to win between SVG or somebody other than that in today's race will close at the end of stage 2. We'll have a dry cast showing at the end of stage 2, and Fantasy League will also lock up at the end of that second stage. Our like goal is 100 likes for today's live commentary stream. We're at 55 already, as we're still in the first half of today's action. Helps the channel out a ton. Like and subscribe. We've got live commentary streams like this every NASCAR race weekend. We'll definitely be back next season, even though we're getting towards the end of this year. And then also, once more, NASCAR 25 content. And that game will release this weekend. But we will also have some streaming action with that. And we're going to be doubling up on the streams for the rest of the year with the NASCAR race weekends, NASCAR 25, and live commentary content over the course of each day when get the hands of the early release on Saturday, along with Las Vegas for next weekend's live commentary coverage on the channel. For the NASCAR Xfinity and Cup Series. Truck Series will be off, so live commentary will be designated to Saturday and Sunday only next week. Cup race next Sunday afternoon. Evening, really, for the Eastern time hours. I believe the race doesn't start till 5:30. Practice qualifying on Saturday along with the Xfinity race. Ryan Blaney is putting a lot of pressure on AJ Allmendinger for the race lead. We know Blaney's been great at saving his tires on the long run and high tire fall-off races so far this season. And here today, it seems to be no different. He is in second. Chris Buescher in third. right there with him. Also managed his tires well, considering that he went the longest of anybody in stage 1 and was able to also outpace them while leading some laps along the way. Van Gisbergen still has not got by his teammate Daniel Suarez for 4th, while it's just kind of a 3-car breakaway for the moment halfway through this second stage. Ross Chastain and his comeback after having the mishap leaving pit road and losing positions is in 20th. Joey Logano in 16th, just 4 spots ahead of him currently. Chastain actually just picked up another spot as well. Ty Gibbs is on pit road from 21st halfway through the stage. And I'm interested to see if that is going to bring any more cars on the pit road. Again, we are halfway through this second stage, so we may start to see more cars pit. I mean, these guys are creeping up onto the oval out of turn 7. They look so slow in that area of the racetrack in particular as they climb the banking. Wayne Martin, welcome to the stream. He's pulling for Christopher Bell. He's in 7th, having a good run. Great at Bristol with high tire fall off a few weeks ago. Won the race. First career win at Bristol, and he is a former Roval race winner. Lap 14 this time by at the line. Ryan Blaney is braking heavily. He's coming to pit road from 2nd place.
The Big 12 when Allmendinger crosses the line.
I think it's
Tyler Reddick is in as well.
Everyone that pitted in the middle of stage 1 and like that call is going to do the same thing again. So you see right there the 9 of Chase Elliott.
Elliott, Logano, Custer.
Custer.
Wallace is in.
There. Chastain, Logano made this decision. Maybe you could go to the opposite strategy, Kim.
Now, Chase Elliott bottom right again. No major complaints again. Would like some more grip, so no big adjustments for Chase. 4 fresh tires. Snow, go fuel, Marty.
An interesting move here for Ryan Blaney, and also at the very front of the crew, Tyler Reddick. These were teams that went to the flip point in stage 1, just 3 laps before the end of that stage. They split stage 2. We'll see if that helps him out. Joey Logano trying to compete to the point Jeff mentioned a moment ago. Everyone, same story, struggling from rear grip, especially as long as they run, but coming here halfway through stage 2.
So instantly you'll see what happens. Now Chastain is plus 10 on Logano. Now Logano's just left pit road, but to Jeff's point, that's how quickly they move, right? In the middle of these cycles, you could give up 20 points coming to pit road. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all cycles out.
I'm interested to see what the 1 car does now. Like, what's their strategy? Are they going to try to stay on track? Can they steal stage points? And I think it would be difficult for them to do as far back as they were.
That's the problem.
Yeah, do they ride around here for a few laps and kind of see what happens in front of them?
And they're 16 seconds behind the leader, so I think the leaders can pit, put on new tires, and then pass the one again.
Right. But could you finish 7th or 8th or 9th and just get a few points?
Now, Chastain at this moment is one of the faster cars on the racetrack.
Looking at a couple of Watkins Glen winners here in the top box on screen with AJ Allmendinger and Chris Buescher. And Allmendinger's car is moving around a lot. He's got his hands full in that Celsius Chevy. And Buescher is on the attack. These two pitted at exactly the same time on lap 22. This is a straight-up fair fight here between these guys.
I think it's important to note also that SVG hasn't brought them down. You know, we thought on newer tires, Shane could just get through the field and get to him, but there he is. He's getting there, but it has taken this entire time to get this close.
I would say that being here in Mexico City and covering that race, his patience on tires was quite just unbelievable. And I think that you see that lower, straighter exit as well. So I do think he knows how to manage tires.
That is really cool shot.
He's so good.
Just completely different ideas on how to get to the banking.
And that advantage is evaporating and evaporating fast because here is SVG.
That right there showed you the advantage.
Top 3 within a second of the lead of one another. Chris Buescher lost a little time to AJ Allmendinger the last lap, and up out of oval turn number 4, Chris Buescher slides the rear tires. Trying to get some of that time back onto the heavily braking zone of the front stretch chicane. AJ Allmendinger locks up the left front, headed into turn 1. Buescher close even more. Same for Van Gisbergen from 3rd. And we've got a 3-car battle for the race lead right now with 10 laps to go in stage 2. 16, 17, and 88. And then Daniel Suarez 4th and Kyle Larson rounds out the top 5 in 5th. Turn 7, SVG to the inside of Buescher. Up off the exit of the corner, much lower exit for the 88. 17 goes way wide, but Van Gisbergen is clear. 1 spot to go to get back to the lead for the first time since winning stage 1 for Shane Van Gisbergen. Onto the backstretch, bus stop. Inside of Allmendinger, outbreaks him with ease, clears him well before the turning point of the corner. And Shane Van Gisbergen is out in front for the 3rd different time today. And AJ Allmendinger, immediately after losing the lead, will come to pit road for a green flag pit stop while the rest of the top 5 stay out.
He hasn't driven away. He didn't catch those leaders as quickly as I thought he would on newer tires, and he also hasn't driven away from Larson.
Here comes Allmendinger on pit road. Marty standing by.
Yeah, we mentioned AJ Allmendinger, the driver, making the call. He was called to pit road the last lap, but he said, hey, I'm going to stay out here. And then a moment ago, Trent Owens said, hey, I know you want to make it to where we can flip the stage running about 6 more laps. There's no way we can make it to that point. He said it's the freest the 16 car has been all day long, but did a terrific job on those older tires out front, held the lead for quite a while.
Let's watch this with a lot of interest. Can Kyle Larson close that gap to SVG?
Still about 8 laps to go, this time by in stage number 2. I don't think Larson's going to be able to close on Shane Van Gisbergen as much as he's closing on Chris Buescher for the 2nd place position. Took him some time to get by Daniel Suarez, but finally was able to do it. That tells me Suarez's tires must have just cliffed. Maybe the same is to be said for the 17. I guess they would have had a few extra laps on their tires compared to the 5 and the 88 who pitted during the stage break rather than 2 to 3 laps before it. Wasn't making as much of a difference immediately as much as it is maybe later in the run. Larson gains a ton on Buescher onto the front stretch chicane, trying to outbrake him to the inside. Side by side through the corner, off the curbing for both drivers. It kind of bounced into one another. Larson probably could have been a little bit more patient and waited for a different point to try to attack. He did make the pass for second, but he lost some extra time to the 88 car in trying to make the pass through one of the tighter areas of the racetrack. Maybe overdrove it just a bit with the contact on entry, and then obviously the 17 making contact back, and really that was just to stay on the course for Buescher's case and keep from hitting the curb on the outside of the corner as hard as what Larson might have hit it on the inside. Christopher Bell is up in the top 5 also, trying to go into the picture as he's all over the 99 of Daniel Suarez. Suarez also quickly catching Buescher for 3rd. Somebody locked their front tires up. It looked like it might have been the 17 of Buescher of that 4-car group. Bell all over the 99, gets to his inside out of turn 7 and onto the oval. Through 8 and 9. Bell will be clear for 4th. .4 second lead right now for Shane Van Gisbergen over Kyle Larson. Chris Buescher 3rd, Christopher Bell 4th, Daniel Suarez in 5th, Michael McDowell in 6th, Ryan Preece 7th, Justin Haley 8th, Ryan Blaney 9th, and William Byron rounds out the top 10. Ross Chastain in 11th, Tyler Reddick 12th, AJ Allmendinger 13th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 14th, and Chase Briscoe 15th, 16th for Denny Hamlin, Josh Berry 17th, Brad Keselowski 18th, Chase Elliott 19th, and Ty Gibbs in 20th. Bubba Wallace 21st, Joey Logano 22nd, Alex Bowman 23rd, Cole Custer 24th, and Ty Dillon 25th. 26th for Austin Dillon, Cody Ware 27th, Todd Gillen 28th, Josh Bilicki 29th, and Eric Jones 30th. 31st for Riley Herbst, Noah Gragson 32nd, Zane Smith 33rd, Jonathan Nemechek is the last car in the lead lap at 34th. Carson Hocevar lap down at 35th, Austin Cindric 36th. And Kyle Busch 37. And actually now Busch 36, Cindric 37. Cindric still off the racetrack, it appears. So Busch up a spot, Cindric down to last place. The cars that have pitted plus positions gained on the restart, Chastain is up 19 positions since the drop of the green flag for stage 2, as he currently sits in 11, just out of a position to try to get stage points at the end of stage 2. 6 laps to go this time by in the second stage. Depending on how many other drivers pit ahead of him, there is a very good chance here that Chastain can get up into the top 10 and get some stage points at the very least. Although he is on older tires still, so he's actually losing spots. And those on fresh tires who have now caught him, like Blaney and Reddick, who are up to 8th and 10th, Chastain has now fallen to 13th.
He's been about 2 seconds a lap faster than William Byron.
Let's talk more about William Byron. Here's Parker.
And Lee, it's been incredible to listen to the radios of these teams as they try to navigate this tire wear and making decisions on the fly. Some of the drivers, even including William Byron, almost sound out of breath as they're trying to describe what's happening in the car, including asking the driver to go further in this stage, and they think the tires are possible. Take a listen to William Byron's radio.
Sure seems like you're going to have to make these live. Keep me updated. You're 5 away from split if people can. I don't see how I'm going to make these laps.
Well, and somehow he has, as they're going to get to the end of this stage and then short pit the stage, as many of these teams are thinking of doing, including Larson and Chris Roval. But it's been a huge task for some of these drivers to go over 10 laps on these tires.
That's what I've been impressed with, the speed on the one car. You know, he has the same amount of laps that William Byron has, and he is much faster than his 24 car.
This is going to sound crazy, but I really think the one chance of advancing is the next 5 laps. I think he's better than Logano. I think he can outrun him a few at the final stage. But if he can get inside the top 10 and score 4 or 5 points right here, he is starting the last stage heads up against the driver in the 22 that he has outrun all day.
Just remember, there's a lot of people in front of Chastain that will probably pit before the end of this stage, and that will advance him. The question is, how many will pit, and how many will catch him from behind,
Right,
to determine if he can earn points or not.
There's going to be a story at the end of the day, if he makes it or if he doesn't, about that hiccup on pit road, exiting after that most recent stop. But boy, has it been a diligent comeback from Ross Chastain. Van Gisbergen leads. Chastain's above the cut line at the moment. 5 to go in this stage.
They just came back from commercial break 3 laps ago. I feel like there's been a lot of ads in this race. Shane Van Gisbergen leads. Kyle Larson again in second. Chris Roval third. Chris Buescher fourth. Daniel Suarez fifth. Then Michael McDowell in sixth. Ryan Blaney seventh. Ryan Preece eighth. AJ Allmendinger ninth. And Justin Haley rounds out the top 10. Coming up on 4 laps to go in the stage this time by. A lot of racing still to go in this one entirely. No cautions for incidents, although we have seen a couple of spins. Busch on lap 1, Cindric in the middle of stage 2. Both off the front bumper of Carson Hocevar. Hocevar is a lap down after having a flat left front tire. He would be in the free pass position, obviously, to the end of the stage, so very much looking like he'll get back on the lead lap. And as for Kyle Busch, he has surpassed Cindric, who is in the garage area still. Cindric 12 laps down, Busch 9 laps down. Five lead changes now in the race. We're just over an hour and 15 minutes in. William Byron, I believe, is on pit road with 4 to go in the stage. Again, pit road closes with 2 laps to go in the stage when the race leader gets to the start-finish line. Four-tire stop, pretty quick for the 24 team. Might see some others come onto pit road here as well. I'm pretty sure Byron was already out of the top 10 anyway, so that doesn't really move Chastain up in the running order. Chastain's still in 12th. Leanna Groh, welcome to the stream. SVG coming to the pits. He didn't in the last stage, and he still got to the lead. So I would assume they'll probably stay on the strategy of staying out anyway. Again, I know he can't get playoff points, but he can try to finish as high as 5th in the standings. Came in 14th. He was only 5 points behind Bowman. He's outpointed him all day today. Cindric's had a rough day. Wallace and Reddick, especially Wallace, hasn't really been anywhere near the front. Plethora of cars onto pit road now.
Goodyear tires on. They asked him to do this and kept him updated throughout the run. He's just been a little tight in that 20 car, especially the right-handers.
Now racing taking it easy. You heard on the radio for the 20, Kim.
Yeah, and for Chase Briscoe, he said the straight line could be better, but limited because of the back end. This last adjustment you made it better. Continue with that correction of the adjustments. I do want to say they did put stomach relief medicine the last time in his water bottle. You see, but it's just still a struggle for him today. Kind of a slow getting out of his box, Parker.
Denny Hamlin on pit road. This was planned because they weren't going to get stage points. They decided to flip the stage here. He's also been struggling with a tight race car.
The story to me moves to
9-second lead for Shane Van Gisbergen now over Kyle Larson. Ryan Blaney in third had already pitted middle of the stage. The 5 and the 88 had not. Blaney's 14.2 seconds back, 20.7 seconds back for Reddick in fourth, and Chastain is up to fifth, 27.9 seconds off the lead. So Chastain was 7 points behind Logano coming into the stage. Now Joey Logano stayed out of the pits. He's in eighth. We'll have to keep an eye on whether or not the 1 or the 22 will fall back any spots with those on fresh tires behind him, and the top 2 into the pits as well, SVG and Larson.
Racetrack, Marty.
It's a fascinating chess match between crew chiefs down here, Steve. You see the 88 come to pit road, who truly did struggle with the handling at the end of that run. Paul Wolf was planning on flipping the stage, but when the one stayed out, they felt like they had to stay out to get stage points, Parker.
Right, and Kyle Larson just been struggling sliding the rear tires, especially some of the higher speed corners. They've been consistently keeping updated what he's been doing differently to SVG corner by corner and trying to get him to adjust to see if he can catch him a bit.
So Ryan Blaney, who's already picked up 6 playoff points in this round with a win at New Hampshire, a stage win in that race, trying to go for a 7th playoff point in the round with a stage win here today at the Roval. He's 8 seconds ahead of Tyler Reddick after cycling through the green flag pit stops. Looks like SVG is still going to be in third even after hitting pit road. Chastain will be in fourth for now. Larson has fallen to 6th, but he has fresher tires by quite a bit over the 1 and the 9 in front of him. And the 9 also on fresher Goodyears than that of Chastain. Ross trying to do what he can, get as many stage points as possible. Joey Logano trying to hold on for a top 10 running position. Elliott to the outside of Chastain for 4th. Ross is going to have to concede this position. He's 3 seconds ahead of Larson still with a lap and a half to go for himself in the stage. Elliott clear into the braking zone of the backstretch bus stop. Logano under heavy pressure from Daniel Suarez in the 99, who is a Trackhouse teammate to that of Ross Chastain. So Logano could be in danger of losing a point here before the end of the stage. Larson may still have enough time to catch the 1. Even though he was like 3 seconds back. He's coming off pit road. He might be that many seconds a lap faster. As for Ryan Blaney, he's still 6 seconds ahead of Reddick, just managing what he's got right now. Reddick on fresher tires as well than the 12 as he pitted a little after him in the stage. Be 34 playoff points for Ryan Blaney if he wins this second stage. That would put him as the number 2 seed entering the next round based off of the points scored all season long. Regular season points, stage wins, and race wins. Only behind Denny Hamlin of the drivers remaining in the playoffs. SVG had just been passed by the 1 of Ross. Well, okay, so that seems a little off. that SVG just lost a couple positions to Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain in the late going to the... That seems a little... I don't know. I mean, that definitely looked intentional. There's no way he gave up that many seconds in one lap. Chastain up to 4th again. End of the stage. Logano will hold on for 8th, barely in front of Suarez. A 4-point difference for Chastain over Logano. Chase Briscoe does not get any stage points at all there either. Oh boy. Well, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I'm just going to try to gloss over it like nothing happened, assuming NASCAR will do the same. All right, we'll calculate our points here. So Joey Logano will be +3 on Ross Chastain going into the final stage. No stage points for Chase Briscoe compared to Chastain's 7, so he'll be +12. Briscoe's not a solid lock either. So Ross Chastain, to make the round of 8 of the playoffs, has to outposition Joey Logano by 3 spots by the end of the race, or Chase Briscoe by 12 spots. If he does outpoint both Briscoe and Logano, then Logano would have to outpoint Briscoe by 9 positions. Chase Briscoe at the end of stage 2 was 24th, where Logano was 8th and Chastain was 4th. Briscoe is not a lock. They have not talked about him, I feel like, on the broadcast a lot when it comes to the points situation. Granted, I can only hear what you guys are hearing, but pitted so he's on a different strategy. Yes, but if he only has to beat, like if Logano gets bumped and Logano only has to beat him by 9 positions, that is not impossible. And Briscoe is not a lock, which is crazy because after the round of 16 he scored more points than any driver in that first round, including a win at Darlington. And here he is, just not as good of a second round in this 3-race stretch and on the brink of elimination. I mean, SVG was on older tires, but I felt like he was managing well until that final lap. And definitely being a good teammate. I don't think NASCAR is going to do anything about it anyway, honestly. Logano might actually be in trouble. Yeah, he could be in trouble. I mean, Chastain's been out positioning him by a lot. I'm surprised Logano was actually in 8th. He didn't get any stage points in stage 1. Chastain in the stages today finished 4th and 6th. Or 4th and 5th. Logano not beating Briscoe by 9 spots unless Briscoe has an issue. He can make it close, though. I don't think he will either, but I can see him beating him by at least a few spots. It's going to be close, as it tends to be with the Roval and its elimination race. Every year it's been in the NASCAR Cup Series, it's been an elimination race, whether it be the round of 16 or the round of 12 from 2018 out through 2025. We're going to end our chat poll. We're at the end of stage 2. 81% of you guys are taking SVG for the win. 81 votes. 54% of you taking SVG for the win. 46% taking somebody other than SVG for the race win. So he was my pick. He's majority of your guys' pick. And we'll have the diecast showing after pit stops.
Inspiration, the Wings Initiative, is responsible for over 4,000 scholarships awarded, 36 internships. Over 1,400 students have completed the design program. So thanks to Nike and Michael Jordan and everybody involved. And on the back quarter panel of that car, you see, yes, NBA on NBC. It returns with the first game, Houston
basketball.
Oklahoma City Thunder, October 21st. And also the All-Star game is on NBC, February 15th. from LA. So a lot to look forward to.
I was on the grid after driver introductions, and all those guys were around that car. And Tyler started walking through it. They all started to chant, "Tyler, Tyler!" And the whole, it was fun. Tyler liked it. He was giving fist pumps. A lot of energy. Good time.
Let's give you a Toyota driver update. And we mentioned this for Kyle Larson a little earlier in the race at this phase of the race with the amount of points that have been accumulated. Well, in addition to Larson, add Christopher Bell's name to that list, confirming his advancement to the round of 8 on points.
Okay, so Larson and Bell have advanced on points.
Have a round of pit stops.
Trying to edit.
Field will be reset. Then we're going to give you a really good snapshot of where everybody stands currently. Hamlin and Byron, even though maybe not having the best days, still doing what they need to do for points. But I think it's going to be an absolute slugfest between the 1 of Chastain, the 22 of Logano, and the 19 of Briscoe. And remember, that's not calculating in a new winner. Reddick hanging out around the front of this field. If he can get back up there and compete with SVG, it could really throw everything upside down.
Kim Kuhn standing by.
And what the one team did in that stage is the perfect example of needing to be nimble with your strategy calls in a race like that. Ross said it felt more neutral in the front end, but the right rear, he said it's absolutely gone. Chase Elliott said that was pretty good middle ground on how the car felt. We're in a good spot, Marty.
Jonathan Asser told me this morning, if we can get a playoff point, we absolutely will take advantage of that. Remember, they've already advanced to the round of 8. Longer stop here for the 12 of Blaney. You'll certainly lose some track position there. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick, full stage 155, and they take advantage of that first stall on pit road to win the race on pit road. Of those who pitted, he said, I pushed it way too hard, too early. I'll do a better job on this run.
Valvoline race off pit road. Great work from 2311 and Tyler Reddick at the 45 team. So too Chastain and Logano behind Chase Elliott.
Ryan Blaney lost 5 positions on pit road there after winning stage 2. So all the points should be updated at the top of the screen. I'm going to read this off for you quickly. So obviously Blaney Elliott already advanced with wins of the round based off of points all the way through the round and stage points so far today. Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell have locked in on points. Denny Hamlin got no stage points today, plus 48. William Byron, plus 40. Chase Briscoe is only plus 12 above the cut line coming into the final stage. Logano, plus 3. Chastain, minus 3. Reddick got 9 points in stage 2, none in stage 1. Again, if Reddick would have been on the same pit strategy as SVG and Larson, he would have finished either second or third in that stage, and that could have been another 8 or 9 points. He'd only be about minus 11 or 12 with a car that is top 3 to top 5. He could have pointed his way in. If Tyler Reddick misses by 8 points or less, he can go back to stage 1 and then choosing to try to just run to the end of the stage rather than being on the strategy as the leaders, costing him the shot in the next round. Obviously, the first race of the round not being great at New Hampshire as well, but for this race alone, Cindric in a must-win situation. I'm just going to say out for Cindric because he's off the racetrack still, I believe. And Wallace didn't get any stage points today either. So 1 point per position. Again, the points at the top of the screen are updated based off of stage points scored in today's race. So what you see at the top of the screen scrolling, Chastain would have to beat Logano by 3 positions. He would have to beat Briscoe by 12. If he beats both, then Logano would have to beat Briscoe by 9 spots to knock Briscoe out. And as for Reddick, he needs to gain 20 points on Joey Logano. So 20 positions he has to beat the 22 by. But he would also have to beat the 1 by 17 spots. So he would have to beat 2 of those guys. He'd have to beat Chastain by 17 spots. He'd have to beat Logano by 20. I just don't see that happening. And maybe 1 if one of them gets into an incident, or maybe a Logano if he has a very poor run in this final stage. Maybe Briscoe gets knocked out. I guess that's possible too. He could gain 32 on Briscoe. Well, 32 would be tough. Like Briscoe would have to DNF on this restart. Because as far as he could fall back, it's 36, which would be 1 point. And then he would have to finish top 5. Reddick would. 5th would be 32, I think. So, which would only be, I guess, 4th. He's likely not outpointing Briscoe.
Case Lottery. Today, Patricia got exclusive access to the Cup Series garage and met the driver of the Wood Brothers number 21 car, Josh Berry. Want to experience racing like this? Follow your local lottery. Powerball, the official lottery team of NASCAR.
Congrats to those 8 people. Still with a chance to win the big bucks. I want to show you something from just a moment ago that affected Ryan Blaney, the 12 team.
Clean on the right side on the way up. You're going to see the tires get hung. A little bit of a bobble on the right rear, right there with the hang. You saw the late index, so that means the tire wasn't tight. Heads up work by the jack man. You never want to do this twice, but it could have been much worse. He comes over, tighten, jacks the car to tighten the right rear effectively, but that's the slow stop of the 12 car.
So ready to get this third stage going. And we will do that when we come
Are we
back
taking another?
Here on USA.
What the hell? They go to commercial at the end of the stage. They come back from commercial. We have pit stops. They go to commercial again. They come back from commercial expecting a restart. We have another commercial. They've taken 3 commercial breaks during the stage break. I swear, there is way more commercial breaks on USA Network today than usual. And then, not to mention, they went to commercial break with 8 laps to go in the stage to come back and then go to commercial break again with 5 laps left in the stage in stage 2. So we've had 5 commercials since 8 laps to go in stage 2. And we've only clicked away 3 laps so far. 4 under caution so far during this stage break. So from lap 42 to lap 54, we've had 5 commercial breaks. Now, I know 3 of those have been under caution. But that's a little excessive if you ask me. I can't do anything but laugh. Gives us extra time for a diecast showing. We are at the end of stage 2. And today's diecast showing, well, there's a 38 car that flipped last week. Zane Smith. This isn't a Zane Smith diecast before you get any ideas. But I did buy this diecast actually when I was at Bristol a couple weeks ago. And I believe it was from the same season. 2004. Okay. From 2004, Elliott Sadler. And the number 38 M&M's Ford Taurus classic paint scheme. It's my first ever M&M's 124 scale diecast. I've been wanting one for a while. It's either going to be a Kyle Busch or it's going to be this particular Elliott Sadler one. I might have even gotten a Kenny Schrader one. I was thinking about it if I saw a good one. This one looked clean. I bought it. I now have 3 Elliott Sadler diecasts of 124 scale, which I never would have thought. But again, 2004 M&M Ford Taurus. Our diecast showing for today, and obviously the first I've showed it off on the channel since getting this at Bristol a few weeks ago. Have the 03 diecast. I mean, 03 and 04, they look very similar. I don't think there's much of a detail difference between the two. I had to look just to make sure because I was thinking that this might have been 03, but I should have also guessed it was 04 because the Nextel Cup Series logo on the contingency sponsor sides of the race car.
Been gathered so far. Ross Chastain and his team have done a great job of giving them the opportunity to just outperform Joey Logano and the 22 team. But don't count out looking at the 19 car. This is going to be a grueling third stage here with the way these cars are driving, and it's the longest stage that they have. Chase Briscoe not feeling well. Is that going to factor in? And can Tyler Reddick find the speed that he's going to need to try to get to that first place finish and move in there? So a lot of things could happen here, guys.
Yeah, a Reddick win would really upset the whole world. If we assume we don't have a new winner, and we take a look at the points, it really comes down to, I think, a big battle, assuming everybody stays straight and doesn't get caught up in a mess, which is a big assumption here at the Roval. But you have Logano and Chastain as they currently run. They're 1 position apart, 2 points on the racetrack. So basically, Chastain has to outrun Joey Logano by 4 positions. That would be a guaranteed advancement of Chastain, barring a new winner.
Well,
Get going, Marty?
oh yeah, because Logano has a tiebreaker. Yeah, okay.
Earlier this week, I said, "What information do you want?" He said, "All of it." He got the points update just moments ago.
He said, I got to finish with the 2 spots that are 1.
You know, we have the tiebreaker on the 1.
Yes.
Right now, as we run, I'm showing you kind of the 1, 8 points behind the 19. So he's 10 spots in front of you now. I mean, you would have to beat him by 10 spots.
Good clear communication to Joey Logano. He knows what's at stake. He knows who he's racing. He knows the point scenario. He said yesterday he wants to know everything about the people he is racing to advance himself to the round of 8. Echo Park Automotive restarts.
All right, green flag back in the air. Great restart for SVG. Not so great for Larson. He took an awkward angle in the restart zone part of the front stretch chicane. Big block for Larson on Daniel Suarez on the 99 down into the first turn. Gives up the outside to Christopher Bell, and Bell almost gets through to second and nearly scraped the wall up out of the exit of turn 1, but he is still clear of the 5 car. Big Gisbergen leads side by side for 4th now between Buescher and Suarez through turns 3 and 4. And Buescher trying to creep to the inside of Larson as well, up off the exit of turn 4. He'll be on the inside into the next right-hander in turn 5. Turn 6 also a right-handed turn before the hairpin left-handed corner in turn 7. Bell putting a lot of pressure all of a sudden on Shane Van Gisbergen. Maybe trying to get to the lead and then sit on it. All over the back of the 88. He gets into him just a bit. Big log jam on the inside of the hairpin. A lot of people in the back of the pack locking up their tires. I think SVG might have backed that corner up a little bit too much, and then everybody else behind them kind of in a chain reaction stacked up. Surprised nobody went for a spin. Didn't look like anybody hit anybody significantly enough to cause significant damage to the front or back of a race car. Gisbergen out brakes and just out maneuvers Bell through the backstretch bus stop, puts a little time on him again. And SVG leads at the line. 54 laps to go at the Roval.
So the tires really make a difference. So every crew chief is going to have a different strategy, and execution is going to be of that strategy. And look at them play off bubble on your left-hand side of their screen. That restart, Chastain now is 1 point ahead of Logano.
Can you believe where we are a year after Joey Logano left here, went home with his family, thinking I'm out of the round of 8, only for Alex Bowman to be disqualified post-race as we ride with Ross Chastain, the bush light on board. Joey said, I was at home having dinner when the phone rang and I found out that Bowman was DQ'd and we were in and we had a chance. Then he went on to Vegas and won the next race and went straight through the Championship 4 and won his 3rd NASCAR Cup Series title. It was all the whole complexion of his year changed at this race. And the same is on the line here again 1 year later at the Roval for the driver of the 22.
There's a 20 of Bell underneath FVG. There's Larson. They got really slow through that rear chicane that allowed Larson to catch him.
Oh boy.
Was there almost contact?
Yeah, there definitely was a little bit.
And Van Gisbergen. And Bell says, I'm coming through. But Van Gisbergen will have the preferred line here into the front.
Oh, he ran him wide.
In stakes 3, and the gloves are off. And interestingly enough, yesterday Van Gisbergen commented that Bell and Larson were the drivers he was keeping his eye on.
Bell was all the way on the apron of the racetrack. They just couldn't hold it down there, had to lift. Larson got into the back of him.
That was good hard racing. And the 3 of Austin Dillon.
That's a crash.
In trouble.
A lot of damage to that car. This could easily generate a yellow if he can't get going. Oh, he gets it in reverse. I'm with you, Jeff. That thing has made some real big contact. Here we go. Yellow is out.
That's exiting turn 5 and up and over the crest, heading to 6. Let's have a look at what happens to the RCR driver. Oh boy.
Oh! Turn 5 crash, it looked like, for Austin Dillon in the number 3. Went wide, that's for sure. Both RCR cars having some crashes in today's race. And another commercial, yes. I'm counting now. This is, I know we're under caution, but this is 6 commercial breaks from lap 40, what was it, 42 to lap 58? I thought they were going to talk about the wreck a little more. We just had one look at it as they were cutting the commercial. Go figure. That was a big hit. Knocked the tire wall out. Dillon was able to drive away, but safety officials going to have to go to work to get that tire wall back in place, so that's the reason for the caution. Third yellow of the day, our first for incident, took until the final stage at lap 58 for that to happen. A single car accident in turn 5 for Austin Dillon as he smashes the left side of his race car. Shane Van Gisbergen, our race leader. Christopher Bell in second. Kyle Larson third. AJ Allmendinger fourth. Chris Buescher in fifth. And Michael McDowell 6th. 7th place is Daniel Suarez. Ryan Preece 8th. Justin Haley 9th. Chase Briscoe in 10th, Bubba Wallace 11th, and Brad Keselowski rounds out the top dozen. Tend to go another commercial break. I'd like to think under green flag they're not going to do that. Not unless things are very strung out. I think that's why they're kind of front-loading the commercials so we don't have as many in the final 10 to 20 laps. If I had to guess, if we still get commercial breaks at that point, then I have no clue why. Well, we'll take a break of our own while we're under caution and waiting things out here. You're listening on KRC to full flag-to-flag coverage of the Bank of America Roval 400 on the channel. We're 29 likes shy of our goal.
Fastest laps, and the man we ride with, Tyler Reddick from 23:11, posted that quickest lap nice and early on in this race here at the Charlotte Roval. So next time by, there's 50 laps left in this Bank of America 400. Started to see some pretty spicy action between Van Gisbergen, Bell, and Larson, with Allmendinger looming. Pit lane is open. Tell us more about Bubba Wallace, Kim.
Yeah, Charleston Knight told me this morning their main goal at a minimum was to stay in touch and contention all day. They really haven't been a factor, so trying something different here, taking fresh tires. Bubba saying the car is getting tighter and tighter as we go. Parker?
Similar case here for William Byron. Just really struggled to keep the tires on that car, especially under braking and acceleration. So just trying to try a different strategy here by coming down pit road.
So you generally think that cautions might be a time to calm down and catch your breath, and just prior to the caution, Ty Dillon, Riley Herbst, they got a little physical. And Riley Herbst kind of took exception to that treatment. So watch this. Jeff, what do you make of it?
Riley Herbst is bad. Felt like he gave everybody room. It's bad at Ty Dillon, so he's going to pull up here and let him know it. Going to turn left.
Oh!
And flat his own left front tire.
Hey, look, another commercial. 7 commercial breaks in the span of 17 laps, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. It's getting comical at this point. Yes, the like and the subscribe button are free. See if we can get to 100 likes here by the end. We've had well more than that many people watching for the majority of the race. Greatly appreciate everybody tuning in. from start to where we're at right now with just over 50 laps to go. We're just past halfway and 51 laps left. Now we're up to 74. The Bank of America Commercial 400 at the Roval. And you know what? I bet as soon as they come back, if we get like a decent green flag run again, like we had in stage 1 and stage 2, if we get like 6 to 8 laps into the run, I guarantee they go to commercial again. They'll want to come back right before potential pit stops, which have been about 10 to 12 laps into a run. Gene Huddleston, welcome into the stream. Wade, welcome in. Yeah, game 2, ALDS tonight. Let's go Scooble. I got my Tigers cup. I'll have my Tigers hat and jersey on later tonight. Got to represent Ryan Blaney during the race today. It worked because he won a stage, too. Got an extra playoff point.
And to next weekend as we head to Vegas. And no trucks next weekend, just Xfinity and Cup. And there's the full rundown for you on the CW app, CW True TV, as usual for practice and qualifying. We'll see you here live on USA, 5:30 Eastern for the first race in the round of 8. The repaired and tie bundle, thanks to the AMR safety team and track work, is still going on here, pretty much complete. And this is why they needed to fix it.
Talk about how challenging this corner is. It's downhill. And a little bit of frustration here, I believe.
I'm going to guess he gets help right here. Really too.
Tire barriers work great for head-on contact, but when every time you hit one of them broadside, it just kind of sucks the car into it. They're great for, if you hang a throttle or brake spell or something like that.
So this section of the track here, folks, it is so difficult and TV doesn't do it justice. Cars coming from your right to the left, when they're cresting that hill, it is absolutely blind. I mean, Jeff, from a driver's standpoint, where is your reference point? Because when we went around the track with DJ, you're like looking into the stands. You have no idea where turn 6 is.
Well, a lot of times when you have elevation changes like this, and then there's a braking zone right after it, there's many times a bridge or a marker or something that you can line yourself up. Here it's nothing.
Yeah.
And you just have to line yourself up off the paint at right where you are. Normally a driver likes to look way ahead, but you can't up this hill. You have to just pick your left side mark. This is where I want to be, and then start braking. Look at the tire marks.
Yeah.
Uphill into the braking zone. That's what makes this corner so difficult.
If you've never been to Charlotte Motor Speedway and on TV, if it looks like the big track around the outside and it's just a perfectly flat infield, Stevie, it is anything but.
Anything but for sure. And that blind corner could be more difficult just because what's on the other side of it, that turn 6 and then that chicane. And they'll just bring the viewers' attention to the left-hand side, Chastain and Logano, a point apart. Byron only plus 13, but Byron's running in the 30th position. So, don't panic yet if you're a Byron fan. Logano could get enough points, but it would be a lot.
Lights are out on the 2025 Toyota GR Supra. So we're going to get back to racing here in a second. Plenty of pressure on this man here, Joey Logano and Ross Chastain. They are racing each other for that 8th place, but there's so much racing to go. 48 laps when they hit the line, this time by multiple stops coming up and a lot of racing to unfold. And if you've watched the 7 Roval races thus far in the NASCAR Cup Series, you know that we are far from free of the chaos and the contact and immense competition. This is, and out of that Echo Park Automotive restart zone, Christopher Bell got a good jump, so too did SVG. He leads his way. The 5 of Kyle Larson is going with him on the inside. H.A. Allmendinger's there, and here comes Chris Buescher. The 17 is around the outside. That'll give him the inside look on Armandinger as they settle into their racing rhythm.
Larson got by Bell for second. Bell was putting a lot of pressure on the 88 before that yellow. Bottom two, you see Chastain and Logano both on boards. Here's where they are respectively. You see that bright yellow 22 climb the hill.
Watch right here when they get into this 90-degree left-hander. Watch how wide they go. Some will go all the way 3 wide.
Nice job by both the 1 and the 22 to kind of clear some traffic.
Michael McDowell's done a nice job today too for Spire Motorsports. He's in exactly the same position as where he started, 6th spot.
Right along with Chastain, 2 cars side by side. He can get forward momentum and get by the 11 right here. Watch him as he gets into this front chicane. Let's see if he moves to the right to get by the 11.
This is for 12th place.
Hamlin blocks him. Chastain goes to the left side.
Brad Keselowski ahead for RFK. Meanwhile, up front, Larson has bridged that gap and is really starting to put pressure on Shane Van Gisbergen.
If you don't think these Cup drivers are sick of getting beaten by SVG, you are mistaken. There is no way that you can like a guy coming into your series and winning all these road course races. Every one of these guys has worked. SVG has raised the level of competition. He's made everyone be better. This is a challenge for every one of them. Larson with a big late move.
And Larson said that yesterday, Jeff, to your point. So he said Shane has raised the game for all of us. But let's give SVG some credit that we haven't done yet so far in this show. Last weekend in Kansas, he got his first top 10 on an oval. But here comes Larson on the inside. Backstretch chicane. Is it time for a new race leader? Maybe. Yes, it is.
Look at Bell. You catch them side by side in that rear chicane. It's an opportunity. Bell saw it. Laid back just a little bit. Used forward momentum to get by him. But this will be a drag race into this very tight chicane.
More contact.
Oh.
Cars bouncing around, dancing under braking. Armandinger, Buscher, McDowell, Suarez. They all feel they're in the mix too.
Should have the grip early on. I heard there.
It was SVG just saying he doesn't have the grip early on in the set of tires. 9 laps basically on the leader's tires. Logano below, battling 15th with the 9 of Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the 20 and the 5 are pushing too hard too early.
Logano will have no patience with you. Chastain will have no patience with you. They are in a essential tie right now, and they have got to go.
And if it's in a tie situation, Logano wins with the tiebreaker.
The highest finish of the round, which is currently Logano's 4th at New Hampshire, to your point, Dip, right? So unless they really improve their running position, we're going to assume that's going to be the highest finish between either of those cars.
Look at this, couple of former teammates in Chris Buscher and AJ Allmendinger as they fight in that backstretch chicane. And McDowell is looming. Suarez wants a shot as well. And Ryan Preece is hanging around. So good day for RFK Racing.
You're better off. Instead of entering that rear chicane side by side, you're better off if the guy is better than you, just letting him go. You just lose too much time, and then the people behind you take advantage of it.
Bottom screen, you all know Logano. You look up around. Chase Elliott has gotten by the driver of the 22. Jeff, you said it earlier, you know, the challenge with the 22 is he doesn't have a great race car, right? It's hard to be on offense when you're just not fast enough.
Yeah, then you start pushing, trying to make some speed out of a car that doesn't have it. You get yourself in trouble.
Couple of cars back, you see the 19, the Bass Pro Shops Toyota of Chase Briscoe, driving not feeling 100%. And he's been dancing on a pretty nervous line points-wise. Toyota onboard shows us turn 7 in the hairpin. He's safe at the moment, but there's still 45 laps to go. There's a lot of work for Briscoe to do.
I think I'm taking Ryan Preece as my favorite driver for the race now. All of a sudden, he's got the Totino's pizza roll card. I had no idea that he had pizza rolls all over the back of his race car. That's my guilty pleasure snack, if anybody did not know. During the Rolex 24 live stream that we did, I had 2 full bags of pizza rolls during the course of the race, 50-pack. Try to eat throughout the course of the stream. I needed something quick that was like microwavable, and that's my like go-to microwavable snack. But needless to say, Kyle Larson taking the lead from Shane Van Gisbergen and Christopher Bell in second. I almost wonder if maybe the restarts and the cycling of the heat cycles on these older sets of tires might have gotten to SVG, because he's actually on equal tires to that of the 5 and the 20. And we know how good he is at saving tires over the course of the long run, but maybe he was spinning them too much on the restarts themselves or pushing too hard, trying to hold the 5 and the 20 back, and not able to keep up with them all of a sudden this run. Either way, 44 laps to go. They are no longer the leader. Riley Herbst just went around on the front stretch, meanwhile, at the back of the pack. But the top 10 in the running order, Larson leads, Bell second, Christopher Bell second, Shane Van Gisbergen third, AJ Allmendinger in fourth, Michael McDowell 5th, Chris Buescher 6th, Ryan Preece 7th, Daniel Suarez 8th, Chase Briscoe 9th, Justin Haley rounds out the top 10. A lot of time still to go in this race, though. 44 laps left. That's a long time at the Roval on road course. That spin happened right around where Joey Logano was, actually, on the racetrack. Luckily, Logano was able to just miss it. Joey is struggling, though. He's back in traffic, trying to find it again. 16th. Middle of the pack, Chastain in 12th. Remember, Chastain needs to beat Logano by 4 positions. He's 3 points back, but Logano has the tiebreaker for the best finish in the round right now. Unless Chastain were to finish better than 4th, then he would have to beat Logano by 3 spots. But 4 positions is what he has to beat him by. And Chase Briscoe in the number 19 car, as of right now, is in 9th, ahead of both the 22 and the 1, also doing his job to make it in on points to the round of 8, where he needs to make sure that he either finishes within 9 positions of Logano or within 12 positions of Chastain. As for Reddick and Wallace, they're in must-win situations. Practically. I mean, it would take a lot for Reddick to point his way in. Bubba definitely in a must-win situation. And right now, Reddick is currently 12th. Bubba Wallace is 19th.
143 laps to go. A lot to still play out here with still so much on the line. It's an elimination race, and we're determining who the 8 will be that go through to race and still have a chance to be champion. Kyle Busch and Riley Herbst here. This is only phase 1. It's not over yet. Keep watching.
So pushing and shoving on the back stretch. Should we get to the front stretch? Kyle says,
Yeah.
Kyle Busch 3 laps down after the really early crash.
Back in the front, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Shane Van Gisbergen. And they've been able to drop Allmendinger a little bit. Here we go. There's a taker on pit road, and it's Buescher. Kim's there.
Yeah, Chris Buescher's had a solid day all day long, just complaining about rear grip going away. 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel for the 17 car.
I felt like there was a lot of posturing happening on the racetrack, getting in position and then kind of posturing on how much tire you're using up, how hard you want to run. I do think that the 5 and 20 did an amazing job getting by the 88. I think they're have definitely put the 88 on notice. We heard that radio that SVG says my car just won't get going on new tires. But the question is, what does everybody think? I guess that pit stop from the 17 tells me that he probably has 2 more pit stops to finish the race with 42 to go. Now the question is, what are the leaders thinking? And are they all thinking the same thing? Parker, what do you think the 5 of Larson currently leading is thinking?
Well, Steve, it's been a discussion amongst both of these teams, the 5 and the 20, whether it's a 2-stopper or a 3-stopper. When the stage started, it sounded like both teams were leaning towards a 3-stop, but now with that caution, it may have changed things. And both of these teams have been comparing themselves to each other and giving the drivers updates. The verdict? Kyle Larson is better in the backstretch chicane in terms of braking, and Christopher Bell is braking better into turn 7 for both those drivers who've been evaluating each other. Kim?
Parker for Chase Briscoe. No discussion yet on the strategy call for these final laps of this stage, but they did tell him when we went green on this final stage that the laps they're running now are the best of the day. Chase said, I'm trying to be patient but aggressive. The line, though, between those two of this track is very thin. They also told him we need to stay top 10 or top 12 for the last 41 laps of this race. That way we'll have no worries in terms of the transfer, Marty.
And the game is not quite over for Tyler Reddick yet. The Toyota onboard tells the story. They're 18 points behind as of right now. He told Billy Scott a moment ago, I'm out of tires. Billy Scott said, give me 4 more laps. So they're going to stick to the 2-stop strategy. And I have to mention, Michael Jordan, the co-owner of 2311 Racing, has not left Tyler Reddick's pit box the entire day. Remember that big bear hug he gave him when he barely made it into the round of 8 here at the Roval last year? Can Reddick pull off another Roval miracle? We'll find out, but MJ's watching on.
They still got plenty of time. 41 to go. Far from over for Tyler Reddick. He's 18 below the cut line at the moment.
Chastain get a pass for the 9 of Chase Elliott, pushes Chastain back to 13th. Logano doing a nice job. One of the best runs he's had in the 22, just holding strong in 15th and a point to the good currently. Talk about nervous when you start counting points by a single number. Because we have so many cars in the lead lap, Dave. I think that's worth talking about, right? There are 35 cars in the lead lap. So you could have a great day and slip off the track or get shoved off the track in the last corner of the lap, and lose all your points and be eliminated. So now we see a busy pit road with Allmendinger. I think that's Kez right behind him, as well as the 48 of Alex Bowman, Marty.
See AJ Allmendinger coming down pit road. He gave up the 4th position. He told Trent Owen several times that I've got 0 tire left. I could really use some help. They tried to get a few more laps out of AJ, so pitting here with 40 to go. That would almost put them in a 3-stop window, Steve, but we'll see if they try to do it here on 2 stops at the end of the race.
Yeah, and all of these windows we're talking about is really just a tire strategy. They can go 35 on fuel. It's funny, Jeff, to be at a road course race and not have one fuel conversation. Just, there's so much speed in these Goodyear tires, you're not worried about how much fuel you can pick up.
The tires are worth so much. Chase Elliott locking the left front tire up. Getting underneath the 45 of Reddick. Comes Chastain. Trying to do the same.
Nine's pretty good.
Yeah, he is.
Coming off that spectacular win a week ago in Kansas, with all of the last 2 laps drama, but especially the last 2 corners. And Elliott was there to snatch the win away from the Toyotas of Joe Gibbs Racing in 2311. It was spectacular. Toyota on board with Reddick. Let's go for a little ride. Have a listen.
Let's go for a listen. Now let's go to pit road.
So the team on the radio, the rear tires are absolutely gone. They will check them for any quarter when they take them off. Or for Goodyear tires, though, for Chase Briscoe.
Kim spoke about what James Small had said to Chase Briscoe about where he needs to stay for them to be safe. And James told me yesterday, I've lived this a couple of times in 2021 and 2023 with Martin Truex Jr., where we're racing, looking at the points, and he said it's so nerve-wracking. And there he is on the radio talking to his driver, just laying out what is needed and what is expected.
Yeah, move with your inputs. Don't overslip anything.
The 88, last minute, a little bit of a dive. 20 locks up front. Well, I guess drops the right rear is centrally what happened. I thought it was locked up front tire. The 88 got by.
Almost wonder if he was looking in the mirror. Yeah, waiting for the attack to come. They just misjudged a little bit.
How easy is it to do that?
For me, it was very easy.
And Bell's on pit road. So great restart. Good early scraps, Parker, with Larson and Van Gisbergen. And now he's headed towards you.
Right, and Adam Stevens was watching that exact scenario there with the 88. Christopher Bell had just come on the radio and said, I'm losing the right rear, and then it was a late call to pit road as he was in the banking of the oval 3 and 4. Adam Stevens came on the radio and said, pit. As you see, 4 tires, Christopher Bell, Marty.
You just had mentioned Tyler Reddick, and they were going to try and run a few more laps. They wanted to get that out of the Reddick has said a couple of times. It's extremely hot inside the car, and they asked him to watch, or Reddick asked his team, watch the onboard. Are you seeing any smoke? I don't see any yet, but it has definitely gotten way hotter inside the 45 car. We'll keep an eye on that as they battle, trying to see if they can get into the round of 8.
And look at where Bell, not only what lap you pit on, but where you blend back into the racetrack. So he blends right behind Busher, who was last on pit road at lap 67. So he has decent tires. That's not going to be an easy pass for Bell. Up the road is Blaney, and Jeff, all of that. Now you're trying to conserve tire. You have 38 to go. Bell has a real kind of decide what part of this mess he wants to be in. Is he going to chase the 17 through? And while this is happening, what do the leaders do, right? Is this where the 5 decides to come to pit road, or the 88 of SVG? Bell continues to chase the 17. The leader's coming off turn 4. Let's see who pits. Yes, sir. 5 gets on pit road. The 88 stays out and runs another lap. So we'll see where the 5 pits and blends to see if he can blend in front of some of that traffic that has Bell hung up, Parker.
Right, Stephen. Cliff Daniels was watching that battle. You were describing everything that was happening on the racetrack there in terms of where the 5 might be able to come out and beat the 20. It's 4 tires for Kyle Larson here to add that extra grip. Just struggling a little bit still with the rear tires.
So now where will the 5 land relative to Bell? He should be behind because of the fresh tires, but did Bell get hung up? He's in traffic.
Yeah. This is good. The top 3 and 3 different strategies, albeit by a lap. There's Busher and Bell.
Oh, the 5's going to have a huge advantage. He's going to get a big gap, not only in time, but positions. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars between the 5 of Larson and the 20 of Bell. Huge advantage to Larson's team for the pit stop and the cycle.
Yeah.
We then turn out.
Couldn't have been a great pit stop for the 20.
In and out lap going to be like?
And I think he has to come this lap. Even as good as SVG is at conserving tires, I think he knows he has competition. Jeff, you said it. Larson and Bell are sick of getting beat. They want to prove they can beat the driver of the 88. I think the 88 has to counter.
Yeah, let's see if their team decides that's what they want to do, or if they want to let SVG do SVG things, and that's run fast times on old tires. Can that work? Could they use a different strategy, or are they going to try to match the strategy?
Who's coming in?
I think it's the only decision. Now the question is, how did he get to pit road? The roll time. Can the pit crew of the 88 keep up with that lightning fast stop of the 5 of Larson? You see on the upper right, the map to give you an idea where everyone is. Marty, the 88 in front of you.
Yeah, move, counter move. Shane Van Gisbergen coming to pit road. He said, I just don't have the grip early in runs that those guys have. And overall, the longer we run, I just need more grip. It was SVG's call to go a little bit longer than the 5 team. He mentioned this pit crew earlier this week, said they've had some struggles over the last month, but they changed some things up last week. We'll see where this pit stop cycles them out.
Yeah, absolutely. The 5's already going by. Now the 20's going by. So the lot of work for the 88. As we covered that, the 1 and the 22 are now on pit road. Logano's in his pit box. Chastain also. So bunch of battles here, Marty. How's it look for the Logano?
So far, a good stop for this 22 bunch. Paul Wolf was in this window a few laps ago, but he said when the one comes, you follow him to pit road. So Joey Logano comes to pit road so far, doing what he needs to do to make it to the round of 8, but there's still 36 laps to go.
It looks like
the 1 car had a much better pit stop than his 22.
Oh, right front won't come off. You see it right there. Struggles to get the
Problems.
front off, Jeff. You said it. The 1 had a much better pit stop.
So I was interested to see how these teams are going to play it. Jack goes up, right front doesn't come off. I was very curious to see if the 1 and the 22 were going to pit at the same time. The 22 matching the 1 strategy, but the pit crew did not execute.
Commercial break on USA Network. 36 laps to go. We're about halfway through the final stage. Kyle Larson leads after the cycling of green flag pit stops. Chase Elliott is second. Christopher Bell third. And fourth is Shane Van Gisbergen. Fifth now Chris Busher. William Byron in sixth. Josh Berry seventh. AJ Allmendinger eighth. Brad Keselowski ninth. And Ryan Preece rounds out the top 10. Many cars still have to hit pit road yet, by the way. Chase Briscoe in 11th, John Nemechek 12th, Alex Bowman 13th, Michael McDowell 14th, Daniel Suarez 15th, Justin Haley 16th, Tyler Reddick 17th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 18th, Zane Smith 19th, and Ross Chastain 20th. Bubba Wallace 21st, Denny Hamlin 22nd, Joey Logano 23rd, Carson Hocevar 24th, and Eric Jones 25th. 26 for Riley Herbst, Ty Gibbs 27, Josh Bilicki 28, Noah Gregson 29th and 30th, Ty Dillon, Ryan Blaney 31st, Cole Custer 32nd, Cody Ware 33rd, Todd Gillen 34th, Austin Dillon last car in the lead lap in 35th. Then Kyle Busch 8 laps down in 36th, and Austin Cindric on track again 21 laps down in 37th. That rounds out the full 37-car running order of the Bank of America Roval 400. 35 laps to go. We'll take a quick break. You're listening live on KRC to our full flag-to-flag coverage of today's playoff race. Yeah, at least this commercial breaks side by side. 84 likes on the stream. Our goal is to get to 100 likes. So be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. We have live commentary streams like this every NASCAR race weekend, truck, Xfinity, and Cup races, as well as Cup practice and qualifying. Next weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will be off, but the NASCAR Xfinity and NASCAR Cup Series will head to town. As therefore, our next live commentary stream will be the Cup Series practice and qualifying action at Las Vegas next week. And that will be taking place at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time in the afternoon. 7:30 p.m. Eastern will be the NASCAR Xfinity race under the lights at Las Vegas. The Cup Series race on Sunday will go live at 5 p.m. Eastern, as it's a later Sunday evening start on USA Network next week, again, for the Round of 8 opener at Las Vegas. So that will be the live commentary schedule for next weekend on the channel. NASCAR 25 content will begin on Saturday as well, so it'll be a packed weekend, to say the least.
Transferring or not to the Round of 8 to be decided by a single pit stop? Maybe, just maybe. And let's tell you more. The comparison between the 22 Team Penske Ford of Joey Logano and the Trackhouse 1 of Ross Chastain. Look at the time comparisons here.
Yeah, 2 seconds faster out of Chastain. You saw the trouble on the right front of Logano. As crazy as this sounds, if you're going to have a slow pit stop, you want it to be under green, because it really only cost him probably 1 point. I think it was 1 position on the racetrack. Under yellow, could have been 8 or 9 positions. They just can't afford to do it. We expect everyone to pit at least one more time, and Logano is like kind of in touch with the 1 car.
I think the big disadvantage is that Chastain is much closer to a group of cars in front of him to potentially make some passes. And Logano is not. He does not have a lot of cars directly in front of him, Parker. As William Byron hits the pit road here from the top 10, he struggled mightily on the long run. And that last run, he was screaming for tires. Rudy Bugle was begging him to go one more lap and said, "We will make it up on the back end. I promise." 4 new tires for him.
It had been a tough day for the 2014. Meanwhile, for his teammate at Hendrick, Kyle Larson is attempting to snap a 19-race winless streak. It has been a long time, but Kyle's been saying, Jeff, that the team is getting better and better, and even those small increments of improvement are getting us back to where we need to be.
Yeah, and it's an interesting conversation about Hendrick Motorsports. I'm not real sure where this team is of William Byron. They have not had the speed that we expect to see and that we have seen from this team early in the year. Let's see what happened here. But can William Byron and that team get going further into this playoffs and find the speed that what is no longer appears to be there?
Chastain, you mentioned the speed, using that speed to get by the 47. Right here, you see the 47 get checked up a little bit behind that 8 of Busch, and the 1 kind of turns left. I think the 47, there's really no choice. I like what Stenhouse did there. He took that really high exit to try to keep momentum. Let's see if there's any contact. Did it look to see? No, not really. I think Stenhouse knows he's there. And
so what I talked about a little bit ago is that, yes, if you're going to have a bad pit stop, you want to have it under green. The disadvantage currently is that Chastain, you can see the cars in front of him.
yeah,
He has an opportunity to pass some cars. Logano, he has the 11 car. Sorry, they're on he just got by the 11. So, look, just not that much in front of the 22, Marty.
Joey Logano slightly faster than Ross Chastain. That's what the spotter Coleman Presley keeps telling him. So there's been one mistake on pit road by Ross Chastain today, one on the 22 crew. This could come down to a matter of points and certainly a matter of positions. I asked Paul Wolf, what about the car? He said, we simply need more speed. Well, right now they're close to Ross Chastain. And you see on the left-hand side of your screen, 3 points behind, Kim.
Yeah, Marty, and points was a big deal for the one team today. Crew Chief Bill Sargent told me stage points are absolutely necessary, not just for the playoff standings, but big things can happen late in the Roval races, so we have to have some insurance. They've done exactly that, finishing 5th and 4th in the stages, respectively, despite that hiccup by Ross after the stage 1 pit stops that Mark just mentioned. They set the standings for Ross right before the green flag flew in this final stage. He knows what he has to do. He's put in the work all weekend long in terms of getting ready for this race. Lee mentioned the time he spent with Shane in the stand. He did 4 sensational partner. 2 of those were with SVG.
Can you use the word insurance? That's exactly what Denny Hamlin had come into this race. Plus 48 above the cut line. It has not been a flashy day for the 11 car, who currently runs in 22nd, just hasn't quite had the pace that we normally see out of the 11, although he himself admittedly struggled at road courses as of late. But this is all they need to do. Currently sitting plus 30 right now. Just simply have that car all rolling on all 4 tires. Will get them into the next round.
31 to go. In the Bank of America 400. In this round of 12, which has seen a couple of awesome races so far, it was Blaney at Loudon in New Hampshire. They got the Lobster. Huge controversy last weekend in Kansas and a brilliant win at the hand of Chase Elliott. Who's going to do it today? And who gets eliminated today?
Larson's lead is 3.5 seconds over Christopher Bell, currently 4.3 seconds to Shane Van Gisbergen in 3rd, and 9.2 seconds over Chris Buescher in 4th. 5th is A.J. Allmendinger at 15.4 seconds off the lead, 16 seconds back for Brad Keselowski in 6th. Ryan Preece 16.2 back, and Michael McDowell at 8th has been top 10 all day today. 19.6 seconds off the lead for him. Chase Briscoe 19.9 back, and Daniel Suarez 20.2 seconds off the lead, rounding out the top 10. Still got a decent ways to go in today's NASCAR Cup Series Bank of America Roval 410 lead changes. Just over 2 hours and 20 minutes into the race. 3 cautions total time on this one. 1 caution for incident, and then the 2 stage breaks at lap 25, lap 50, lap 58. Austin Dillon got up into the tire barriers on the exit of turn 5. 10 laps spent under yellow amongst those 3 cautions so far. Kyle Larson, our current race leader, has led for a total of 15 laps. Shane Van Gisbergen has led the most at 39 currently. SVG also won stage 1. Ryan Blaney on pit strategy was able to win stage 2. Blaney led for 4 laps. 3 laps for Reddick early in the race from the pole. A.J. Allmendinger led for 13 back in stage 2. Chris Buescher for 5 laps in stage number 2. And those are the only drivers that lead at least 1 lap in the race today. So 6 different leaders amongst those 10 lead changes. Larson's lead again, 3.7 seconds. SVG has been pacing faster than the 20 and the 5. He is now within just a couple tenths of Bell for 2nd place. Lost his tires early in the last run. We are still far from the finish. Everybody's going to pit at least 1 more time, maybe twice, under green flag conditions between now and the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see exactly how that pans out and when those pit stops will come. Looks like during the full screen commercial break, SVG has just made a pass on Christopher Bell for 2nd in the running order. So now Van Gisbergen back up to P2, 3.9 seconds back of Larson. I think the big question now is, can Kyle Larson hold on to the lead long enough to get to the next pit stop before SVG can catch him? SVG was 0.7 of a second quicker a couple laps ago. He's only 0.2 quicker that last lap, but that was also with passing the 20. And Bell only a 10th off of Larson, but definitely not able to keep up in pace with the 5. The 20 was the first of these 3 to pit road, then the 5 the lap after the 20, and then SVG the lap after Larson. So SVG 1 lap after the 5, 2 laps after the 20 as to when exactly those trio of cars that have dominated the second half of the race have come onto pit road. AJD, welcome to the stream. Just show it. I can't show the race for copyright reasons. You'll get audio from them at some points, live commentary of my own through other points. Coming into this final stage, we knew of the playoff standings, which scroll across the top of the screen. That is the points margin based off of stage points that were already awarded through today's race. So Ross Chastain has got to beat Joey Logano by 4 positions to get that final spot. As of right now, he is 2 points to the good, which means he's 6 positions ahead of Logano, or 5 positions ahead of Logano at the moment. And the reason why he has to be 4, despite the fact he's -3, is because Logano has the tiebreaker, which is the best finish in the round. New Hampshire, Joey Logano finished 4th that day. That is the tiebreaker. Currently, Ross Chastain in the running order is outside the top 10 in the 13th spot. Logano would be 17th. And Logano just passed Ryan Blaney for 17th, so now it's only a 1-point difference between the 22 and the 1. SVG now just 3.1 seconds off of Kyle Larson at the front of the pack. Bell is 5.6 seconds back at 3rd. Buescher 12.7 off the lead at 4th. And Ryan Preece up to 5th at 19.4 seconds off the lead. Quietly good performance for Preece in the 60. All 3 RFK Fords, in fact, in the top 7. Reddick still has the bonus point for the fastest lap of the day, which was back on lap number 1. Reddick is currently in 8th and in a must-win situation to make it to the next round. Because he would have to outpoint Chastain by 17 spots and Logano by 20 for him to point his way in. I mean, it's not impossible, but they'd probably both have to get into some sort of an incident, and Reddick would have to have a top 5 on top of it. Reddick not out of a must-win situation. If it stays green to the end, he's not making up 24 seconds. But if we end up catching a caution, gains a couple spots on pit road, cycles out, fits 6th, get a couple restart after restart, you just never know. Chris Buescher from 4th going to pit. Same for Keselowski. So RFK on the way to pit road. Green flag pit stops are upon us with 27 laps left. And I would assume that's probably not going to be the last stop for those two.
So to your point,
Reddick
Jeff,
also
right,
on pit road.
Cruise on old tires, try to make a mistake. We haven't seen many, but the best chance of a mistake is asking him to push 45 on pit road, Marty.
Yeah, Steve, I tell you what, you got to wonder if Billy Scott's thinking, hey, we're doing this in this last stop of the race here with 27 to go, or they might push it and do 2 stops to the end. Got to try something different to Jeff's point. I mean, something to fall their way. Fresh Goodyear tires going on the 45. Again, he's really happy with the handling of it. We'll see if it's willing to stop to the end or not. That's it for the day for Tyler Reddick.
Terrible stop for Keselowski. It said 21.5 seconds. I don't know if that was accurate or not. If it is, that is a tough break. Again, he was up in 7th place before his stop. Now he's back in 28th for the moment. Obviously, much others will have to pit. He'll cycle some of those positions back quickly. I'm not going to focus too much on Chastain and Logano on that playoff cut line as of right now because we're going to have quite a few cars pitting over the next 5 to 10 laps, it looks like. So that's going to fluctuate quite a bit. We'll obviously monitor when those 2 cars in particular come to pit road to see if they could gain or lose time on one another. I would imagine Logano will try to pit before the 1. If the 1 can find a way to pit before the 22, that could be an advantage in and of itself for Chastain as they're just kind of racing each other within that 3-spot barrier between them. Just over 10 laps on the set of tires for Larson and SVG. SVG now just 1.5 seconds off of Larson, as he has been closing quick. 25 to go this time by at the line. Bubba Wallace, who's also in a must-win situation, by the way, is in 11th place. Granted, he's moved up 3 spots because of Preece, Keselowski, and Reddick already pitting, who were in the top 10 ahead of him. Logano within 1 second of Gibbs for another position, and Chastain is within about 1 second of Justin Haley, and he's 2 seconds off of Briscoe for 2 more spots ahead of him. If we're looking at potential points that could be picked up between those 2 drivers. Onto the front stretch chicane this time by. SVG just so much better in the braking zone. Gains a few car lengths, and he's still able to race his way back to the gas at a decently quick rate to keep that time gain. Christopher Bell is on pit road.
They can't, but that's what SVG does, and Christopher Bell is on pit road. 25 to go, Parker.
Right, Lee. He had just come on the radio and said, no rear grip. I need longevity. Then as you through the banking 3 and 4, Adam Stevens once again, a late call to bring him down pit road here to be the first of the leaders on the pit road against tires, which could potentially be the final stop, Tim.
Yeah, and crew chief James Small for Chase Briscoe told me this morning their weakness this playoffs has been inconsistency on pit road. So for what would be the final stop, they'll look for clean and smooth. Remember, they asked Chase to run top 10 to 12 for the rest of this stage. He pitted from the 7th. He'll look to regain track position and hopefully transfer.
Much better stop for Christopher Bell that time in that 20 team on pit road than the pit stop before that. The problem is they were about 5 to 6 seconds off the lead when they came to pit road. So they're going to need the 5 and the 88 to sail for at least 3 to 4 laps to have a chance to try to cycle in front of them and into the lead. Showing a replay of the pit stop for the 20 crew. Oh boy. It looked a little risky as to whether or not they actually got that right rear secured tightly. It was a quick stop, but is the right rear tire going to stay on the car? And if it doesn't, and if we catch a caution, oh boy, that is going to make for some interesting situations here in the late going, because there are cars that have already pitted that only have a couple laps on their tires that may stay out. And that worked well in the short run back at stage 2. It was the longer they went into the run where they really started to fall off quickly. But they were able to hold on for a good dozen laps or so ahead of SVG at that time. There were 5 drivers in particular. I think Reddick, Blaney, Busher. There were 2 others that were also in there. Suarez. And there was 1 other car that they were able to manage until the closing laps of the stage before Larson and SVG started picking them off. It's like a gradual fall off, and then once you get like 12 laps into the run, it just cliffs after that. And it's a random lap just depending on how well you've conserved your tires over the course of that said run as to whether or not they are going to cliff. At least as far as how drastically compared to others. Van Gisbergen is pulled to within 2 to 3 car lengths of Larson into the bus stop on the back straightaway. 23 laps to go this time by. Now Van Gisbergen close enough to get a draft off of Larson, feeding him through the shifts into ovals 3 and 4. Does Larson pit this time? No, he does not. He's going to try to hold back the 88 for as long as he can, and I would imagine as soon as he loses the lead, he's coming to pit road the next lap. That would probably be the play. Not sure what that number is for Cliff Daniels as to whether or not he would want to bring Larson to pit road before he loses the lead as well. Larson held on through the front stretch chicane and now through turn 1. SVG steadily through the first turn. Probably going to have to wait until turn 7 to try to make the next strike after Larson. Gained a ton of time through turn 3 and 4 in the infield section of the racetrack. $89.6 to Larson's 90.0 that last lap. SVG, a low route through turn 6. Dive bombs into 7. Larson on the outside, going to try an over-under move. He gets to the bumper of the 88, but all that does is push him more forward. Shane Van Gisbergen in the lead with 23 laps to go here at the Charlotte Roval. Joey Logano, by the way, on pit road in that 22 car, who still battles Chastain for the final playoff cut line spot.
All right. The 22, no man's land here, Steve, with 23 to go. Paul Wolf said, if you can make it live for 5 more laps, I would love that. Logano said, my stuff is gone. I'm literally just hanging on. He said, we have 2 sets. If you want to make that call, we can 2-stop it in these 22 laps left in the race, 23. He said, you make the call. Paul Wolf said, come to pit road, Parker.
All right, Marty, and for the 20, Christopher Bell was just told to go hard. They are going to pit again in this stage, so seeing if this works out for them. Basically, a 3 stops since the last caution here for the 20 of Christopher Bell, so he's going as hard as he can right now, knowing they'll stop again.
All right, so it looks like a 3-stop strategy for Bell. Larson and SVG going to try to stretch this out and go for the 2-stop strategy in the stage. So trying to do something different to make up the 6 seconds of time that was needed, and as much as he fell off of the 88 and the 5 before the green flag stops. Ross Chastain now to pit road.
Bill Surgeon got the radio and said, Silverado. apparently in a directive for Ross Chastain, brought him down pit road for Fresco Gear tires to finish out.
22 laps to go here at the row.
22 laps left. Bell's 28 seconds off of the race lead where he runs in 4th right now, but he already made a stop. Larson and SVG will have to pit before the end, and it sounds like Bell will pit one more time as well. So how much of those 28 seconds can he make up? And the good news is if a caution comes out, he's only in 4th, so he's only one more spot back than what he would be otherwise, and he's only a few seconds off of McDowell for that 3rd spot anyway. Seth Thomas, welcome to the stream. NASCAR radio on in your house. This is my version of NASCAR radio. The live commentary streams. We're at 94 likes. We've got well over 200 people concurrently watching in the chat, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. It helps the channel out a ton. We're on a goal of 100 likes for the stream today. Subscribe for more NASCAR content, live commentary streams like this every NASCAR race weekend for Truck Xfinity and Cup races. You guys helping me grow the channel along the way allows me to be able to do this every weekend. And love watching NASCAR with you every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that it's on throughout the course of the season. 2nd consecutive year we've done every Truck Xfinity Cup race that I haven't been to in person. I'm only going to one more race this year, which is Phoenix for the finale. So our last weekend for live commentary will actually be Martinsville. And then obviously we'll be back next year with the Rolex 24 in January. I'll be doing that again as the following live commentary stream after the championship race weekend this season at Phoenix. Kyle Larson and Shane Van Gisbergen with 21 laps to go are on pit road. They're currently on a side-by-side commercial break as that runs. John Nemechek will cycle to the lead for a brief moment. No, that's not accurate. Hang on. Never mind. The leaderboard was getting all wonky on me. I thought they came to pit road because it showed them dropping in the running order. That is not the case. I lied. For anybody else watching on USA Network, did you see the same thing I was seeing during the side-by-side commercial break where everything just kind of shuffled around? Now Larson's in the pits. Okay, so lap after the fact. Larson's in now. He was about 2 seconds off of SVG when coming to pit road. We'll see if pitting one lap before him can make up some time. The 5 crew has been faster than the 88 on their 4-tire stops today by a second or two, so that could gain him a little time also. Gonna need to be a crisp stop for the Trackhouse Racing team of Shane Van Gisbergen's to replicate the fast stop that Larson made, get him out on the track, and try to stay ahead of the 5. Larson does cycle barely ahead of Christopher Bell, but Bell's going to pit one more time. I'd imagine pitting as early as Larson did, he's going to pit one more time also. So does SVG try to run this out to about 15 to go and then just make it to the end from there? So SVG's lead is about 22 seconds over Kyle Larson. Well, that was while he was on pit road. It's probably a little bit more than that. We'll wait for our leaderboard to update. Chastain back on pit road again?
He was.
I put it wrong
here.
Oh.
Watch him as he leaves his pit stall. Watch how fast he's going, but watch the right front tire. He recognizes that he's going too fast, tries to slow down to get it below pit road speed. Watch. He put it in gear, and then he pulled it back to get it in the correct gear. And that is just 2 mistakes on pit road by the driver. One, he overshot pit exit. And on this
He's
one,
frustrated too.
He just was speeding in the wrong gear.
Yeah, Chastain was frustrated with that, banging on the steering wheel with his fist as he was leaving pit road the first time. Speeding penalty for Ross Chastain, so he just had to come right back down, serve the pass-through penalty. We'll look back in the running order. Logano 23rd, Chastain 24th. So remember, Chastain needs to beat Joey Logano by 4 positions to get that final playoff spot. And as of right now, he's 1 position behind him with 19 laps to go. We do have a lot of green flag pit stops still to cycle through. Brad Keselowski's got an issue as he pulls off the racetrack. Out of the way, we'll stay green there.
For the pit stop.
Oh, ran out of power.
Great day for RFK. Yeah, so he's pulled off right there.
On the pit stop. I know it's a trouble because what shift right after that.
At one point, the 3 RFK cars were in the top 7. It was a really good day for the 14. So back to the clawing his way back story for Ross Chastain. He's done it once. He's got to do it again. But he's only got 19 laps left.
The leader of 88 of SVG has now came to pit road. Remember, the 5 of Larson has pitted. We showed that he blended out in front of the 20. So now the 88 coming for his last set of tires, we presume, Barney.
Oh!
In, clean in the box. Let's see where he blends.
Yeah, I had to check it up there going around Austinville, and they lost some time to the 5 last time as the 5 goes through the front stretch chicane. They were crazy fast on the long run. It's SVG's call to run a little bit longer as Larson goes past the exit of pit road. And he said, I want to split it up into even stages or even lap runs at the very end. Stephen Doran said that. So 2 even 18 lap runs for SVG to the end.
Now you see the work ahead. The 5 and the 20 have gone by. The math works out. He was basically 24 seconds ahead. You lose 25 seconds pitting. He comes out 1 second behind. He has the fresher tires just by a lap or 2, and he proved on the last run that in 18 laps, he ran them all down, but very close getting on pit road, Jeff, with the 3.
You see Austin Dillon leading the pits. And SVG heads up.
Close.
Just check it up.
Close call.
Letting Austin get out. Cost him about a second.
Oh,
could have been a lot worse.
So we have 2 real battles. We have a battle for the win between the 5, the 20, and the 88. I'll throw Busher in the mix, too, back there in 4th. And the other big battle is Ross Chastain and Joey Logano after a speeding penalty. You see on the bottom of the pylon, right? Chastain running 20th, Logano 18th. So Chastain has to beat Logano by 4 if he wants to advance on points and points alone with 18 laps to go.
Everything that this guy did in the second stage to claw his way back, get good stage points, get the advantage or get even with Joey Logano and give himself a shot. And now he sees the guy immediately ahead, but ahead and passing him, like Steve said, is not enough. He's got to get by and clear out in these final 17 laps. Ahead up the road is Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse, Alex Bowman. He's got to get past those drivers as well.
I think the advantage, though, is that he does have newer tires than some of the people in front of him.
Not the 22, though.
And that could be an advantage for this one car.
And there's a few cars that are going to pit. And as crazy as it sounds, I think they're going to blend right around these 2.
Yeah.
So do they blend in front or behind? Like there's some points that are going to be dropped in like little Easter eggs. I just don't know who's going to find them.
This is far from over. Far from over. And the defending race winner, who's searching for a victory for the first time in some 19 races, his home is literally a stone's throw away from Charlotte Motor Speedway. There's Hendrick Motorsports headquarters, and just peeking over the trees is where we are.
Larson leads, Christopher Bell second, Shane Van Gisbergen in third, Chris Buescher fourth, Tyler Reddick currently fifth. A lot of pit stops still have to cycle through outside of those top few positions in the running order. We may still see the 20 come onto pit road one more time yet. It sounded like they were going to do a 3-stop strategy. We'll see if they stick to it. Outside of those top 3, again, Chris Buescher is in fourth, then Tyler Reddick fifth, AJ Allmendinger in sixth. Now Ryan Preece up to sixth, AJ in seventh. Michael McDowell in 8th, William Byron 9th, Chase Briscoe rounds out the top 10, then Daniel Suarez in 11th, Ty Gibbs 12th, Alex Bowman 13th, Chase Elliott 14th, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 15th, 16th for Joey Logano, Ross Chastain 17th, Todd Gillen 18th, Bubba Wallace 19th, Zane Smith in 20th, Ryan Blaney 21st, Josh Berry 22nd, Denny Hamlin 23rd, Cole Custer 24th, and Ty Dillon 25th. Justin Haley in 26th, Jonathan Nemechek 27th, Noah Gregson 28th, Eric Jones 29th, and Riley Herbst 30th. 31st is Austin Dillon, Carson Hosevard 32nd, Cody Ware 33rd, and Josh Bilicki 34th. Brad Keselowski just pulled off the track, 35th for him. Kyle Busch 36, 9 laps down, and Austin Cindric 22 laps down in 37th. That rounds out the full field running order. We'll take our final break of the stream. You're listening live, KRC NASCAR Cup Series Race Action, Bank of America Roval 400. We did get to our like goal of over 100. We still got over 250 people watching, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content, live commentary, NASCAR streams every NASCAR race weekend. Truck Xfinity Cup action. And Ross Chastain, Joey Logano battling around for position. Chastain has to beat Joey Logano by 5 spots to make his way into the next round. And I'm sure a lot of these competitors that are in the playoffs don't want Joey Logano to win, not only because he's the defending series champion, but the stranglehold that Penske's had at Phoenix the last few years. Keep him out of the championship 4 and greatens your chance at the championship. Blaney's already in the next round, but Logano obviously is not. That would lead just one Penske car of the final 8 going into the round of 8, beginning next week at Vegas. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Shane Van Gisbergen pass for second, made on Christopher Bell, turn 7. By far, that seems to be the best corner for SVG versus the rest of the field all weekend long. Practice and qualifying yesterday, race included today. Long run, short run, doesn't seem to matter. Not that far off of Larson for the lead as well, only 1.4 seconds with a lap car between the 88 and the 5. Van Gisbergen's got slightly fresher tires, so he made quick work of Bell, and I'm sure he'll do the same with Larson. Chastain, by the way, in 16th place. Joey Logano is in 14th. Tyler Reddick is still in 5th in that must-win situation, hoping for a caution to bunch the field back up again late, take fresh tires, maybe get some spots on pit road, and do your best to try to get to the front of the pack. The 5, the 88, the 20 have been the ones to beat today, but the 45 is not out of it if we catch a caution. As far as the point standings themselves go, as far as the overall race win, if it stays green, it's definitely the 5, 88, or the 20. Bell will pit one more time, it looks like, and we'll see if he can gain anything else on these guys. 14 laps to go. And does Larson maybe pit again as well? I don't see anybody beating Van Gisbergen if we don't catch a caution. SVG into turn 7, underneath Larson. Maybe a little contact to the left rear. Larson drives right into the right front of Shane Van Gisbergen as they get back up onto the oval, trading paint back and forth with one another. I mean, Larson barely got touched by Van Gisbergen, but he is running him tough. Into the bus stop on the back straightaway, runs right into the back of the 88 as soon as he cleared him. Larson doing whatever he can to try to find a way around Van Gisbergen. They made so much contact with each other over the last several corners that Christopher Bell now is within a half a second of the lead again. Did that wear out the 88? Just enough. Larson into the front stretch chicane. He moves him. Larson's all over Shane Van Gisbergen. I mean, he's going down in a blaze of glory. He does not want Shane Van Gisbergen to win another road course race. He says anybody but SVG. And SVG's got to return the favor here. He's going to have to give up several positions. He got up into the marbles in turn 2 after Larson forced him wide. Bell gets to second. Larson back to the lead. And Bell now to attack on the 5. Yeah, that was not a good idea by Larson because you know he's going to get his comeuppance if SVG gets back to him. And rightfully so, because he did more than use him up. He didn't wreck him, but he shipped him a couple of times. Clean pass for Van Gisbergen in turn 7 on Bell. Bell's got nothing for these two. He's got the oldest tires of the 5 and the 88. The only reason he got to second and got to the back bumper of Larson for a couple corners because the extracurricular contact that the 5 and the 88 were making with one another, mainly the 5 on the 88. Larson has not won since the middle of the month of May at Kansas Speedway, 19 races ago. And you can tell he's doing whatever it takes to try to win this race again here today. Larson's racing for a championship, by the way. I think the last thing you want to do is make somebody upset after this race here this weekend as well. Is it worth it for Larson? That's all I'm saying. Big picture here. SVG will get back to him. I mean, he's been outpaced him for a while now, and he's got slightly fresher tires. And I'm sure Larson's going to do what it takes to try to win it again as well. We may see another caution for the end of the race. These two could clean each other out. Or maybe one cleans the other out. And that brings Tyler Reddick maybe back into it. Who knows? $12 laps to go. SVG into turn 7. Arcing the corner off much better on Larson. I think SVG knows what Larson's going to do. Now you just got to pick the right point making the pass on him. So that way that hopefully doesn't happen again. It might not really be much of SVG's choice as to whether it'll happen again or not. As he gets to the inside into the bus stop, Larson will probably put the bumper to him once more. He did. But if Larson can't close the gap through oval 3 and 4, I think SVG's too far away this time. So Shane Van Gisbergen out in front. 11 laps to go this time by the line. Larson from about 5 car lengths back into the front stretch chicane is digging. Lap car Cody Ware in the 51 is upcoming for both the 88 and the 5 at the front of the pack. 11 laps left.
Hey, Joey Logano, this is just the last lap. Here he goes underneath him, easily makes this pass. Now Chastain.
He's going to be a nail biter between the 1 and the 22 all the way to the finish.
For sure.
Because with 11 laps to go, the question is, does the 1 and the 22 plan on staying on the racetrack? The 1 is absolutely faster. I just don't know if there's positions available. And with that said, does Paul Wolf dare pull his driver out of a transfer position to come to pit road again?
Oh, Logano's pitting.
There you have it.
Wow.
Oh, that is just such a gutsy call, because if we watch the points as he pits, Logano is at +2 in your bottom left. Check this out right here. +2. Well, as Chastain stays on the racetrack and cars continue to go by, now it's 0. Now it's +2 for Chastain. It's going to continue to fall. +3. Party the 22 in front of you for their last pit stop.
Paul Wolf, always a master strategist. We'll see if this plays out or not. Remember when they pitted just a moment ago, we mentioned this was in the playbook.
Yep, Bell pitted too.
Time today, and this could be the decision of whether or not they make it to the round of 8 or not. Clean pit stop by this championship pit crew. These are 1.5 lap scuffs, Steve. Let's see if the 1 answers the call, or they say on the track.
Steve, you were one of the very best on the pit box about these strategy calls. What tools and how did he make that decision?
I believe that Paul Wolf feels that we're either going to get a yellow or there's enough tire life that he can run the 1 back down with 10 laps to go. You should be able to make up 25 or 30 seconds pretty easy. If I'm the 1, though, I just don't think I can pit from a transfer position, Kim. I'm going to have to wait to see how it plays out. What are you hearing?
Yeah, they're kind of waiting to no direction to Chastain in terms of whether or not they would pit. They do have a fresh set of tires if they did elect to bring him down right now, keeping him on the racetrack. And it has actually been radio silence on the 1 radio since Ross's second mistake of the day. So just really focusing forward on the final 10 laps of this race.
When Ross Chastain sat down with us before the playoffs began, he said last year was brutal, missing out. I was sad, and then I turned that sadness into anger and then into motivation. He said, I have to get through this year, being in the playoffs and go further and deeper. Is today the day that he stays in the playoffs, or is today the day that he gets bounced out of the playoffs? It's all to play for in the final 10 laps.
When it comes to your work,
10 laps to go in the race, and they are on commercial break. Go figure. Top 5 in the running order. SVG leads by 2 seconds over Kyle Larson in second. 2 on E2.7 seconds back. Christopher Bell in third, who already made a pit stop. Most recently, he's got about 6 or 7 lap fresher tires than that of SVG in front of him. Chris Buescher, 22.9 seconds up, leading fourth, and Ryan Preece, 24.5 seconds back, rounding out the top 5 in fifth. Battle for the final playoff spot also ongoing with the battle for the race win. Ross Chastain has to beat Joey Logano by 4 or more positions to get the final transfer spot on points. Right now, Ross Chastain is in 13th, but Joey Logano, despite being in 24th, just came onto pit road a couple laps ago. He has fresher tires and is on the attack to try to get by as many cars in front of him as possible. So the difference in the running order is 11 spots right now. Joey Logano will have to pass 7 cars between now and the end of the race. And he's moving people, by the way. He just moved Zane Smith and Eric Jones. Both of them getting up out of the way of Logano. I think Jones was upset with the 38. It looked like he ran him down on the front stretch. Like, what the heck was that for? Meanwhile, it was Joey Logano who actually hit him from a couple cars back. Yeah, Logano's going to be maybe not dumping people, but he's going to be moving people extra aggressively between now and the finish. I don't think anybody's catching SVG. Larson on to pit road. Interesting with 9 laps left. This should get Bell up to second. I think he's pitting now so that way he could stay out if we catch a caution in the later laps. I would assume that is a strategy because he's already losing time to Van Gisbergen. Probably end up cycling Larson a couple of spots out of the top 3 if I had to guess. Wait for the leaderboard to update. It looks like Larson's in 4th. I'm curious if anybody else maybe comes to pit road and that cycles the 1 or the 22 up a few extra spots. Logano, by the way, during the commercial break, gained 3 positions. So what, is he 21st then now? No, 24th. Okay, so he passed a couple cars to get to 24th. It just didn't register on the points before the commercial break, so. Chastain, I think, just made a pass for 12th. Unless Logano got by... Nope, Chastain's still in 13th. Showing an 8-point difference now. It was 7. I don't know what was going on there. So Larson's got pace compared to the 20 and the 17 because of pitting later. He should get back into second. It's going to take a caution to beat Shane Van Gisbergen. And if SVG catches a caution, he's either going to be on old tires on a restart, or he's going to have to pit for fresh tires while he's going to have to drive his way through several cars in front of him to get that said track position back. If we don't catch a caution, Shane Van Gisbergen will win his 5th consecutive NASCAR Cup Series road course race. It'll be the 6th career win in the NASCAR Cup Series. And 5th of the season, tying Denny Hamlin for the most in 2025. Tyler Reddick in a must-win situation is currently 15th. Bubba Wallace in 10th. Must-win situations. I'm sure they'll do opposite of everybody ahead of them on strategy to try to get the win amongst one another if we did catch a late caution as well. Just something to look out for. Chris Buescher is right there with Bell. I don't know if Buescher pitted or not. I don't think he did. I would like to think he's got older tires than both the 20 and the 5 that he sandwiched between in the running order. Chris Thomas, thanks for tuning in, as well as many others if I haven't shouted you out in the chat below. Appreciate you all watching yet again. Another NASCAR race weekend. Larson putting heavy pressure for 3rd on Chris Buescher. I don't know that Joey Logano is gaining 8 positions. That is a very risky call to do what he did. And unless we catch a caution, I don't see it working out for him. There are drivers on fresh tires who are looking to get by Chastain. Josh Berry looking to make a pass on the 1. That is in favor of Logano. And I believe Tyler Reddick is on fresh tires also behind the 1. The 1 moves the 21 of Berry on the front stretch. Couldn't get right back around him, though. So both Chastain and Logano are just trying to move people at all costs for the final playoff spot to get to the round of 8. Reddick is going to get by Chastain in a hurry, and Gibbs is right there as well. Chastain is bleeding positions because of other drivers on fresh tires around him. I didn't think Logano was going to pick up the 8 spots, but a mixture of him maybe gaining a couple and Chastain losing a couple, in the span of about a half a lap, Berry, Reddick, and Gibbs all got by Chastain. So I believe Chastain is now only +5 above the cut line. Another car not that far behind the 1 as well would be Chase Briscoe in the 19, who I believe is also on 4 fresh Goodyears later into this green flag run. And Briscoe will get by Chastain on the back straightaway out of oval turn 2. There is a lot of clean track behind Ross Chastain all of a sudden now. As Ross falls back in the running order, Chastain is currently in 16th. Joey Logano still 24th. Has to beat him by 4 positions, and he's 8 positions to the good right now. Fell 18 seconds off the race lead from Van Gisbergen. Larson in third, 20 seconds back. 4 laps to go this time by. Four more points. That's the separation between Chastain and Logano. I think Logano can get 1 or 2 if it stays green, but I don't know that anybody's catching Chastain. He had a massive gap back to the 17th place car behind him. Only other thing I wondered, does anybody else potentially pit like in the top 10 out of a desperation? I don't think so at this point, because you're not going to get the spots back under green. Logano is charging hard on John Hunter Nemechek in the 42. Nemechek is going to let the 22 go. I don't know how much of it is letting him go or Joey just having fresh tires, but he'll get around him on the outside of ovals 1 and 2. Turn 8, 9 on the road course layout. So Logano to 22nd. He actually got by Cole Custer on that lap as well. Logano's 3 points out, with 3 to go at the line. Bell and Larson going to be in a battle for second here before long. They're only a half a second apart from one another. They haven't shown that battle up at the front between Bell and Larson in a little bit. Two and a half laps left for Shane Van Gisbergen to try to win this race. Custer is pretty close to the back of the 22 of Logano. I don't think he's going to try to pass him. Joey might have overdrove turn 7 just a bit. He's getting into desperation mode. I mean, Logano's 6 seconds off of Stenhouse in 19th to gain 3 spots. Chastain is 3 seconds ahead of Denny Hamlin right now with only a couple laps left. It's going to take a caution to knock Chastain out of the playoffs at this rate. Battle for second between Larson and Bell is now shown on the top of the screen on USA Network. We're headed into the backstretch bus stop now at 17 seconds out of the lead. SVG just trying to get to the white flag to signify that the next flag would end the race. Yellow or checker. Eric Jones missing the bus stop on the back straightaway. I think he'll come to a complete stop, it looks. And get back going again. Larson trying to chase Bell for second still. Bell locking up the right front tire just a bit. Larson has slightly fresher tires than the 20. Few laps worth. I think Bell pitted with 12 to go and Larson pitted with 9 to go. About 3 laps of a difference. Yes, Logano currently out. -3 at the moment. He would have to pick up 3 positions. He does own the tiebreaker over Chastain for the best finish in the round. Shane Van Gisbergen climbing up to speed on the oval portion of the circuit. Out of oval turn 2, headed for the backstretch bus stop. And SVG is just a couple more corners away from getting the white flag. Larson on the inside of Bell as they battle side by side for second up out of oval turn 2. Larson going to be on the outside entering the corner, Bell on the bottom. These two are going hard for the second place position. A little bit of contact, nothing too extracurricular there. Larson all clear. White flag meanwhile in the air at the front of the pack for SVG. 1 lap to go as he exits turn 1. Logano was able to make another pass. Ross Chastain is 2 points to the good. The 34 of Todd Gillen on fresh tires gets by Hamlin. He should be able to get by Chastain. If I'm Denny Hamlin, I would rather have Chastain in the next round than Joey Logano. If you want to win a championship at Phoenix, knowing Penske's the team to beat. Just throwing that out there. 1 point is the difference now between Logano and Chastain. Nobody is in front of the 22. He is not going to catch another car. Hamlin is closing on the 1 of Chastain, but if I'm Denny Hamlin, I seriously wouldn't pass him. And I don't know if he's aware of the situation or not. I would imagine he has to be. Final lap for SVG. Larson pulling away from Bell in the battle for second. And Hamlin is charging the front stretch chicane on Ross Chastain, but he's not going to make a pass on him there. Ross has to hold on in front of Hamlin. He's got 1 full lap left. Hamlin lost a little bit of time out of the front stretch chicane. Trying to get it back through turn 1. He's putting pressure on him. I can't tell if he actually wants to pass him or not. Maybe push him along, get him going, so nobody else catches him. Checkered flag in the air, 5th win in a row on a road course for Shane Van Gisbergen. And it looks like he's going to hold on to win by more than 17 seconds over Kyle Larson in second, who is pulling away from Bell for that spot. Chastain's got a slew of cars behind him. I don't think Hamlin's going to pass him. And then Bowman, the next spot, also closing in on fresh tires, is a Chevy. I don't think he passes Chastain either. Oh, Ross! Overslid the entry to turn 7, and Hamlin's going to get by him anyway. Chastain went sideways. He lost the spot, and that's going to aid Joey Logano in the points, and Chastain is several car lengths off of Hamlin as they get into the backstretch bus stop. Does Denny surrender? Chastain gains a lot of ground on the 11. Can't get up out onto the throttle quick enough into oval 3 and 4, though, and I don't think he's going to get it. He overslid the corner. I don't think Hamlin was going to pass him, personally. Chastain is in full send mode into the front stretch chicane as he catches Hamlin. He spins him! Oh, Hamlin goes around! Bowman's going to get by both of them. Chastain is in reverse trying to cross the start-finish line. Logano already beat the 1. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Joey Logano's going to get the final spot anyway, but Chastain, once again, was willing to do whatever it took. But it wasn't enough this time. The crowd's probably cheering him because he wrecked Denny. They probably have no idea about the points. They just saw him wreck the 11, and they're like, yeah! Oh, my gosh. If Chastain didn't mess up in turn 7, I think that Hamlin was going to sit behind him, but he made such a bad mistake that Hamlin passed him. I mean, there wasn't like any way that Denny could have sat behind him anymore, but Joey Logano was through to the round of 8 on a tie. Well, it wasn't a tiebreaker because by the time they crossed the line, Joey Logano ended up actually passing the one car who was trying to backpedal across the start finish. Oh my goodness. Playoff shenanigans at its finest. That was more comical than anything, though, I will say. But Logano does get in. 4 points. Ended up being the cutoff line difference. Reddick got to within 12 points today after coming in minus 29. 5 consecutive road course wins for SVG. His 6th career win in the NASCAR Cup Series. Again, 5th of the season of those 5 consecutive road races. He'll be going to try to tie Jeff Gordon's record for the most consecutive on this style of racetrack next season at COTA, which will be the first road course in the spring of 2026. We'll get interviews from our race winner SVG and other top finishers. Stay tuned for about the next 10 to 15 minutes. We'll be live. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet and subscribe for more NASCAR content like this every NASCAR race weekend for Truck Xfinity Cup races, as well as Cup practice and qualifying. NASCAR 25 coming out next weekend. We'll have plenty of that content as well on the channel. NASCAR-oriented channel right here on KRC. SVG victorious at Charlotte.
What did we just witness at the Roval? A crazy finish. SVG with 5 straight road course wins. As you mentioned, Lee, he'll get a shot to tie the all-time record that Jeff Gordon holds in 2026 with a possible 6 straight. I know that race didn't disappoint the fans here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And as always, when SVG wins a race, he'll autograph the rugby ball and send it into the stands. To these fans. Let's see how the kick goes today for SVG. Wow. 5th in a row, Shane. But you said, hey, I've got a right rear tire issue. Was that the smoke we saw in that final lap?
Yeah, it just started getting hot and sliding around, but what an awesome race. Kyle and Christopher driving really good and got a little rough, but man, the battle was awesome. And with the Tech Chevy, I lost it a little bit at the start of stage 3 and whatever they did for the rest of the race. Unbelievable. Really enjoyed that. And it was a long time waiting, hoping the yellow wasn't going to come out.
I want to ask you about that rough racing with the 5 and the 20. I mean, you had to get elbows out, didn't you? Because you said, hey, at Bristol, I didn't like it when the non-playoff guys raced me that way.
Yeah, like I gave him a little bump at 7 by accident, and he just slammed me, and that sort of set it off. But I'm all for it. It was fun, and I hope he's not too pissed off. But hope it was good to watch, too.
1 win for Trackhouse Racing, but the other Trackhouse Racing driver out of the playoffs, Ross Chastain, is with Kim.
That's right, Marty. Out by 4 points and 2 mistakes on the day by Ross, but 2 rebounds. Put yourself in a position in the closing laps where you had to have the driver of your life. Your spotter, Brandon McGrinnell, said before the last lap, I need a perfect lap. You need a perfect lap. If you had that last lap back, what would you do differently?
I'd restart the whole day, Kim. For Bushlight Chevy, Trackhouse Racing, they expect so much more out of me. And to speed on pit road, I go back, I went off the end of pit road and didn't turn. I had more room and just trying to get to the yellow line and just completely started the downfall there, and then came off out of the pit stall and double clicked up into third, and just unforced errors, just terrible. So it's heartbreaking for almost 200 employees at Trackhouse, of our teammates, our ECR engines, everybody that makes this go around with Jockey and the Moose and Kubota. It's Justin hired me to carry this one car and to drive it and to be a leader, and I just completely unraveled our day. We definitely had the speed. I missed turn 7. I mean, that's good for the starts. So the rear tires and let the 11 by. So not acceptable. Like just completely, just completely unacceptable.
Unacceptable. How do you kind of come to terms with the mistakes that were made today?
Knowing that no one else had a hand in it but me. The WISE program gave me everything I needed. GM, Chevrolet, Trackhouse. So I can go to bed knowing that they're building me to be the best I can be, but I've got to make those right decisions in those moments where I'm not on autopilot, but when I come out of the pit stall, I'm just getting to my lights and my hand, I pulled twice. And when I went to the end of pit road, I didn't turn because I want to get them the yellow line, and I needed to just turn the wheel. It's really simple. So, yeah, it's terrible to get to this level and not perform. It's when you watch and you learn and you study for half your life to get here and to fail is a terrible feeling right now. And I will wake up tomorrow and go right back to work. It doesn't make it any better for our partners and for all of my teammates that are really upset with me right now. I know the 11's mad. I'm sure I would be too. He got by me clean and was giving me room, and he got by me clean, and I wiped him out. So, just have to wake up tomorrow and go back to work though.
Ross Chastain eliminated here at the Roval, Parker.
Right on the flip side of that, Joey Logano advances. So in that final 2 laps, did you realize how close it was between you and Ross Chastain?
Yeah, everyone was telling me how close it was going to be there, and gosh, what a fans are. Is that me? Is that who they're doing that? Oh well. Hey, we're still alive, baby. We're still going. I'm so excited. Such a close finish there. It was within a point there, and we knew we were going to be tied there at the end, and Ross was going to do whatever he had to do to make it happen. This wasn't quite fast enough today with our car, but overall, man, it's the drama of the playoffs, right? If you want drama, the playoffs bring it every time. What an entertaining finish there, and to come down to, like I said, a tie there basically at the end before the wreck. So proud of Paul Wolf. Made some really hard calls today. 3 stop in the end there, kind of an audible there at the end. Just our fall off was a little bit too much. So making that call there at the end was ultimately what kept us there in the game with just a few left. So as a championship performance from the team, wish I was a little faster, but overall, I got to be more proud of the team, and we still got a shot.
Serious drama here at the Roval.
Serious drama, serious emotion.
Going to go over the finishing results to today's race, and I would assume they're going to have the updated point standings when we reset the round of 8 when they come back from commercial. I'll go through that as well. Fantasy League Fallout into the post-race edition of the Bank of America Roval 400 from 2025. 15 lead changes, 3 cautions, only 1 for incident, which was in stage 3. Austin Dillon crashed at lap 58, and the stage breaks at lap 25 and 50. 3 hours, 3 minutes, 49 seconds total time of the race to finish under the regulation length of 109 laps. 10 laps spent under yellow of those 109. So fairly a green race today. Probably, I'd say that was probably my favorite road course race of the season. Either this or COTA. COTA was just so long ago that I don't remember it very well. That was a pretty solid race also. So between this and COTA, definitely the best of the road course races I thought this season. Shane Van Gisbergen with the win by 15.1 seconds. It's the 3rd of the 5 road course race wins he's had this year where he's won by more than 10 seconds. Kyle Larson ends up in 2nd, Christopher Bell 3rd, Chris Buescher 4th, and Michael McDowell rounded out the top 5 in 5th. 6th was Ryan Preece, 7th for Daniel Suarez. Chase Elliott 8th, AJ Allmendinger 9th, and Tyler Reddick rounds out the top 10. 11th for William Byron, Ty Gibbs 12th, Ryan Blaney 13th, 14th for Chase Briscoe, and Bubba Wallace 15th. Josh Berry 16th, 17th, Todd Gilliland, Alex Bowman 18th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 19th, and Joey Logano in 20th. Ross Chastain 21st, Cole Custer 22nd, Denny Hamlin 23rd, and Zane Smith 24th. Justin Haley 25th, 26th, John Nemechek, and he was the last car to finish on the lead lap. 27th for Ty Dillon, Noah Gragson 28th, Carson Hocevar 29th, and Riley Herbst 30th. Eric Jones 31st, Austin Dillon 32nd, Josh Bilicki 33rd, Cody Ware 34th, and 35th for Kyle Busch. Frank Keselowski 36th DNF'd as he pulled off the racetrack late, and Austin Cindric 37th. So only 1 DNF total. 26 cars again finished on the lead lap. Margin of victory again 15.1 seconds for SVG over Larson. Larson led 27 laps today. SVG led the most laps, also won stage 1, leading 57 laps on the day. Chris Buescher 5 laps, led 13 for AJ Allmendinger. Tyler Reddick led the first 3 from the pole. Ryan Blaney won stage 2 in pit strategy. He led for 4 laps. Those were the 6 different drivers who led at least once today. Pull up another NASCAR.com page so we can go over the fantasy. And I'll wait to see if they pull up the updated playoff standings for the round of 8 when they do. We will take a look at that. For right now, Denny Hamlin has been caught up to with Parker Kligerman.
This was in there when you went by him on the final lap?
No, I did not. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know if I was racing for 10th or 30th. I didn't know anything about anything on that last run. I wasn't very good. I know that. I missed my marks a ton. Just didn't do a good job driving. But I saw the one. Yeah, I don't know, because I didn't even hear anything from the spotter about like closing or anything. So I didn't know anything about anything going on. But obviously, the one was in a position there, and obviously, we got caught in it. But yeah, I didn't. I wish I would have known. But yeah, just the one was slipping. I was not great, but I'm like, this is another spot. Move me up in the metric for qualifying next week. That was my motivation to get. I guess I was racing for about 18th or so.
Would you want to talk to Ross after that? What you saw there?
No, I don't fault Ross at all. I wish I knew, so I could have been either prepared or made a different decision.
And he wanted that information. Kid.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think Denny was going to pass Chastain if he knew Logano was the one racing him. Here's Chase Elliott.
This weekend, but when I talked to crew chief Alan Gustafson this morning, he said it was important to keep up the intensity and kind of the sense of urgency. Do you feel like you guys did that today?
I do, yeah. I mean, we're just trying to do something different on the strategy front. Unfortunately, never really went our way. I thought our pace was actually respectable. I mean, to get restart, in the mid 20s there, behind 20th place on a couple of occasions, and get back inside the top 10. I feel like we were decent. Just needed to have something kind of go our way with the way we were running it. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a solid day for us, and certainly gave it our best effort, and excited to get to Vegas.
Chase Elliott on to the round of 8 after the win.
What I was going to say, though, anyway, and I was kind of mentioning this in the closing laps, I don't think Denny Hamlin was going to pass Chastain had he knew Joey Logano was the one racing him, because I don't think Denny Hamlin thought of Chastain of being a contender to make it to the championship 4 or winning the championship, say, at Phoenix, compared to Logano, who has won 2 of the last 3 times at Phoenix, and Penske winning the last 3. So now both Penske Fords of Logano and Blaney will be in the round of 8. Obviously, Cindric, who is also in the round of 12, has been eliminated alongside Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and now Ross Chastain, as we saw there down the closing stretch of the finish. Last thing that we have to go over is the Fantasy League. You can join the NASCAR Fantasy League on the NASCAR.com website or the NASCAR mobile app. Chance to win 2 tickets to any NASCAR race if you're choosing the following season if you win our league championship for both the regular season or the playoffs. And we'll see who won the Roval this week on the channel. I had Ty Gibbs, Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain, SVG, and Chase Elliott in my lineup this week. And on the head-to-head matchups, I had SVG over AJ, Hamlin over Wallace, which was not right, Chastain over Briscoe, which was not right. And Reddick did beat Cindric, so 2 of the 4, 20 bonus points. And as far as who won this week at the Roval on the KRC League, it was Monster Jam X10, our regular season champ, with 265 points, outscoring Freaky Fast 4 with 263, in second EC23, and third with 258. 255 for Troy the Great in fourth, and P-Shat Motorsports in fifth with 253. So that rounds out the top 5 there. That is that. They have not showed an official playoff standings with the updated standings, that is, for the round of 8. And assuming that they don't show anything, I think that's going to end up finishing off our stream today. Congratulations to Shane Van Gisbergen on winning his 5th consecutive road course race at the NASCAR Cup Series level. I will see you guys next weekend. Practice and qualifying for the NASCAR Cup Series will be the next live commentary stream at Las Vegas at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Again, next Saturday afternoon, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live for that. Xfinity race later that same night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern at Las Vegas. And the NASCAR Cup race in the evening hours beginning next week out west. 5 p.m. Eastern, we'll go live with our pre-race coverage there, leading into the full flag-to-flag coverage of the race itself. NASCAR 25 going to be coming out next week. Also, have some driver polls in the community tab throughout the course of the week. where you can vote for who you want me to race as on the season modes of those games. Our live streaming will start Saturday for that, so we're going to have a lot of streaming next weekend, really the rest of the weekends for the NASCAR season going forward with the game release, plus still doing live commentary, and we'll do the game stuff during the week as well. Maybe wrap up some NASCAR 08, or at least regular season action of which for the next couple of days, and that's going to be it for the channel. Yeah, go Tigers. They'll be playing Game 2 here in about another hour and a half or so from now. Thank you all so much for watching. We did smash the like goal of 100. We're at 124 right now at the finish. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet as well. Helps the channel out a ton. We're on the road to 7,000 subs. Bigger and better things are coming here, and I greatly appreciate the support you guys give me by just tuning in every weekend as well. But definitely like and subscribe so we can get on to even bigger and better things with these live commentary streams. I got stuff in the pipeline that I'm not going to be able to do this year, but hopefully next season with the live commentary streams that I think you guys are going to like. And if we grow the channel out, it gives me more of an availability from a monetary standpoint to be able to pull off some of the things that I'm looking to do in 2026. So appreciate it. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody. And congrats to SVG.